my stick down. Oh, I'm reaching. Grab my controller. I don't know anything about it. It was recommended to me by Impurist Club. It is a visual novel. It is about werewolves, and it is horror themed. Sorry, I couldn't get my controller to plug in. As for how scary it actually is, I have no idea. So, I get scared of everything. Using a controller for a VN, what am I supposed to use? A stick? Or is it just, like, point and click? It might... I'm not familiar with these. Point and click? Okay. But Raging Loop is great? Okay, yeah, it was recommended to me. I'm gonna boot it up now, actually. Ooh, you're excited? Let's go. Let's see. Let's go to game. Raging Loop. Turn this off. Here's the game. Does it have sound? No sound yet. Made with Unity, that's cool. I was made with Unity. Oh man. Well, that's why I got the heart rate monitor in, so. Alright, Raging Loop. How is the music? Is it loud? No, it seems like my voice goes over it. Ooh, this banger. Alright. Pro tag, obviously. Female pro tag. Betrayer. Love interest. Kinda loud? Okay. Let me see what I can do about that. Volume mixer. I can turn it down a hair. Okay. Yeah, here, let me put it to like here. I think this will probably be about right. Okay, yeah, that's probably about right. Song goes in. Oh man. I can adjust the sound as it goes. I know my voice is where I want the upper limit to be. So as long as like my voice isn't getting drowned out. This is also the theme song, so I don't know if it's gonna like be quieter after this. Oh my goodness gracious. Alright, here we can do this probably. Auto text can go pretty fast. Text speed can go pretty fast. We do want text. Display. Hide buttons. What does hide buttons mean? Whatever. Display mode is fine. Let's do windowed just because I want to be able to click stuff. Forced unlock. Please use only in unforeseen circumstances such as data deletion. Okay, we don't want to do that. Okay, sound. BGM volume. Let's go 1 down. Whoa, that's pretty far to go down. Whatever, that should be fine. No, see, now it's like quiet as hell. I don't know. This might be fine, actually. I kind of want to be here. I don't know. Maybe I can just use my PC's volume mixer, bring it down like to like here. Yeah, that's probably about right. Yeah, that's a big jump in volume. Character voices, mid. Wait, you can change characters' voice volumes? Okay. Whoa, there's a lot of characters. Yo, crank the... Yo. Ryer, can you do me a favor? Sure. Clerk, others. I have a hunch on what it's gonna be, but set the game to 1 in the volume mixer and check again. Like to, oh, okay. See if that actually does anything. All right, the game is set. Yeah, that absolutely did something. I just set the game to 1. Yeah, well, it's changing on my OBS. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't move it too much. I only moved it from like 15 to 12. I keep my stuff pretty low on, I keep my stuff pretty low. We're just gonna go here. I think this will be fine. Okay. Let's read. Hi. Bid you welcome to the world of this visual novel, Raging Loop. Oh, I can't see the bottom. I do have to full screen it. I am nobody special, honestly. Okay, she's just part of the interface. Rikako. Alright. Sure. This work is quite strange, you see. It's recommended that the uninitiated take the time to read everything. Is this gonna be some Doki Doki shit where like the game breaks? That's so funny. I just thought that. Those uploading their gameplay should at least read videos and share. Oh. Okay, well, I will be uploading my gameplay, so I guess I should read that. If you read until the end, you'll find a sexy CG of me. Doesn't exist. We truly do live in a society, bro. Okay. Where should I begin? Okay, about this game. Okay. Just like with regular novels, the story is told through text, and the enjoyment comes from reading. You're familiar with the party games Werewolf and Mafia. This is similar to those. Okay. Man. I kind of like this character, I don't know. This carry-on sometimes will come upon choices which affect the story, of course. The characters have lively visual depictions as well as voices, so you can get fully immersed. To enjoy the voices to the fullest or to simply avoid bothering your neighbors with the sound of anguished screams, consider using headphones. Okay. The story is obscenely lengthy. Okay, so I guess we'll get a lot of sessions out of this. Also, you may be aware of this already, but Raging Loop is based entirely around fabricated murders. Yeah, so it's all fiction, of course. It's tailor-made for fans of thrillers, suspense, horror, and mystery. Well, that's not me, but we're gonna do it. Fiction, no real people, not related to, of course. It also includes fictional details about academic matters such as history, religion, mythology, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, just covering your butt, just in case. I wonder if it's gonna twist and be like, this is actually real events. Like, yeah. Yeah, don't do murder. Okay, understood. Why do you differentiate between reality and fiction? This is, after all, fiction. I'm sure you're intelligent not to conflate things. Enjoy raging loop to your heart's content. How's my voice versus the voiceover? Probably fine. It looks like it's fine on the thingy. Special functions. Okay. It has branches. Yeah, of course. No need to worry, for we have included a function called the scenario chart. You can access it any time by simply opening the menu, giving you an overview of the scenario. We are in the introduction. Okay, good. And that's not all. You can skip to any chapter. Oh, you can go back to any chapter you've been to. Okay. Okay, so no save scumming. Oh, okay. So this game actually endorses going back and changing your choices. But is that going to screw you over? I think that might screw you over. Keys. All branching in the story happens immediately when you make a choice. None of them start taking effect further down the line. Okay, so every choice... This is bullshit. You're lying to me. But that's okay. I'm gonna take your word for it. Some of the choices can only be unlocked when you have specific bits of information called keys. Oh, so you'll like go back once you have the key. Many might say that searching for the keys is a major goal in this game. Okay. Can't wait to find a key. Keep in mind that all routes unlocked by acquisition of a key will be open, even if you haven't saved after the fact. Be open even if you haven't saved after the fact. Okay. This also means that you can't load back to a state when you didn't have the key. Yeah, I mean that's kind of, it sounds like that's the point of the keys, is to go back once you have it to unlock a different path. This doesn't make any scene inaccessible, so it's not much of a problem, but it's something to keep in mind. For those commendable individuals who would like to play without any keys again, please refer to the data reset option. Use it wisely. Now, why would I want to play with no keys? That's curious. See, Koyo, Doki Doki also has me like bugging about like literally everything that NPCs say to me now. It's like, I don't... This game's also called Raging Loop, and they're talking about looping around to previous things. Standard functions. In addition to the special functions, there are basic functions. You can hide the text, window, see the background, and save. Skip reading text, skip to the next choice, blah blah blah. Saving and loading work as normal. Autosave each new chapter. Save manually whenever you feel it's appropriate. Whatever you've read to a part that calls for it, or you're about to use the scenario chart. Hold on. Please save manually whenever it feels appropriate. Whether you've read to a part that calls for it, or you're about to use the scenario chart. She just told me not to save often, because you have the scenario chart. Options. Volume, text display, blah blah blah. So yeah, you know how to use options, obviously. I'm counting on you, certain someone. Is that me? Oh, there's sheep in this game? Let's go. Shoutouts to Bedman Sheep Super. Alright, this is important to me. Just got back and you're still in the tutorial? Yeah, I'm reading about all this stuff. Raging Loop is a visual novel, meaning the story, events, conclusions are very important. Because of this, it would be very troubling if someone uploaded everything to the internet. Oh, okay, so like no spoilers? Then again, we do understand who want to join the work with many other people. Because of this, we have set a guideline for how we would like you to upload. The range covers the whole first main route and a little extra. You can only upload until the choice Infiltration Q, entering the village. Okay. That's a lot, just so you know. Okay. Uploaders who read everything aloud might get a sore throat. Please don't overdo yourself. Oh, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me, darling. Also, if you intend to upload, please use the reminder function. If you have it set on, when you reach the time to stop making a video, a strange sheep hops onto the screen and says, "End of the line." What does that mean? Is it a... It'd be grateful if you stop recording when you see him and try theorizing and arguing instead. Oh, this sounds exciting. This function is currently set to off. Let's turn it on. Why not? If you wish to change it, please go to introduction and come here again. Okay. Here we go! Oh, thank you kindly for reading this far. Yes, of course. That's why I bought this, to read. Oh, beyond the pockets of mist and hazes of blood, at the end of the ever-repeating despair and grief, witness the truth of the werewolf village with your own two eyes. Wow. Okay. Here we go. May 11th. That is a week from today. Okay. I closed in on the side of the road and killed the engine. It was steeper than I'd thought. My bike was on the verge of giving out, so I pushed down and deployed the kickstand. There I am. Welp, I'm lost. Maybe taking a ride down an unknown road with no sat-nav on me wasn't such a good idea. I just followed the roads, so I figured I wouldn't get lost. But now I was in some deep shit. No, cool it. This isn't a big deal. I sighed, took note of the fact that I'd gotten lost in my pocket journal, and then pulled out a map. Suddenly, a rush of memories fitted into my mind. Okay, so literally, if we have key number 4, we can see this memory. Forget it. I somehow kept myself from remembering these things. After all, I'd gone on this trip to forget. Sounding like my boy Jack Garland over here. Oh, what's up, Haruaki? Haruaki?
やめやめ。目の前の現実を直視。
Gotta focus on what's happening right now.
人生はシンプル。
Oh wait, this is me.
つまりこの道のごとく、真っ暗で道案内もなく、進むか返すか。考えることはそれだけ。
Going back wasn't an option in this case, so I'd just move forward. It's got a bit of a nasally voice, right? Still, I wanted to know where I was at least, so I looked down at my map. It was all Greek to me. Last time I'd seen a sign, it was still light out, meaning that I'd gotten lost after the sun had set. Sure, it was my own fault for just guessing which intersection I'd be passing through, and that it had taken me 2 hours to conclude I was lost. Crazy to think that just 2 hours of aimless driving got me almost completely surrounded by mountains. They extended as far as the eye could see. If you flipped this scenery upside down and shook it, it's unlikely even a shred of civilization would tumble out. Besides the asphalt below, my sweet ride, and the lampposts above, the first one in a while, mind you, there was nothing man-made here. The pocket map I had wasn't detailed enough for me to figure out where I was.
進むか。
Guess I'll just keep driving. I'd go as far as I could. Worst comes to worst, I could just camp at the site of the road. Oh god. 2 hours later. I wish I could voice some characters. Oh, that'd be sweet. Get the collab going. 2 hours later, I deeply regretted ever thinking that. Basically, camping wasn't an option. This mountain road had no side to camp on. A dump truck I'd passed barely even fit on it. What? I'd also had my first close encounter with the wild forest animals. I'd already seen 2 boars and 3 deer in these 2 hours alone. One of the deer had run parallel to my bike while intently staring at me, and I had no idea what to think of that. I felt like it could smell my fear, and I did it to just make it worse. How dare the thing do that to a human? We're the kings of this planet, damn it. I have to remember to eat some venison once I come back to civilization. Damn! This guy's vindictive. Anyway, camping out here was a bad idea. I'd end up as either roadkill, or worse, animal food. And yet, I didn't back out. Why? Because I'm a pretty warped sort of guy, and I won't pretend otherwise. That was actually the reason my once comfortable relationship had gone awry, and why I'd gone on this stupid trip. Let me tell you about my ex-girlfriend. Still, despite acknowledging that, I chose to keep moving forward. It wasn't like I'd find a place to stay if I went back. I was actually starting to think that this experience might make a good conversation piece sometime down the road. It really was getting late at this point. Where would these roads take me anyways? It'd probably be disappointing. Soon enough, the road became flat. I was out of the mountain pass. The forests remained abundant though, so I still didn't see much. Even so, the streetlights and signs were enough to make me feel I was again nearing civilization. Was streetlights the right expression for lights in a forest? I'll have to look that up. As the road grew less rugged, I realized just how exhausted I was. All this bike handling had left my hands really sore too. I really had to rest. Suddenly, I saw something unexpected. Powerful, colorful, artificial lights. Convenience store? Hey, the Fresh Marquee. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I was next to an intersection between the road I was on and another, even thinner road that could probably support only a single car. The sea of trees ended, giving room for a majestic child of our consumerist society. I like this writing. Yeah, that was an exaggeration, by the way. Apparently, even a damn store was a big deal for someone who just stepped out of the wild. This guy's only been out there for like 4 hours. It was called the Fresh Market. I'd seen several of them a few times during the day. Probably a local franchise. The building didn't look all that old. At least the parking lot looked a lot smoother compared to the roads. This is a pretty weird place to build something like that, though. Was I close to a settlement? Or do they actually make a profit off of lost travelers? I'll just ask that or something. A local shopkeeper was bound to know what was around these parts. Not to mention, I was thirsty. I was welcomed by a weird chime sound. It looked like a normal convenience store. There were goods on the shelves, a counter to the left, and... Whoa! The worker at the counter was so mean looking, it was scary. She was so imposing, I wouldn't have doubted if someone told me she was in charge of some lady's army corps. Hey, is that supposed to be a greeting? It was so damn cold it actually gave me chills. Was this store shadier than it appeared? Was I about to be stupidly overcharged? That's your first concern, buddy? Was this how this place made a profit? By taking advantage of lost people and basically beating them out of their money? Shit. That was scary. Clearly, the Wonderland had only just begun. Woohoo! I sure was excited for the beating. I grew more nervous and less enthusiastic by the second. I braced myself, but she just looked down at a magazine in her hands. Oh, so she was just a slacker. Slightly disappointed, I walked around the store. Hey, jam. It was about what you'd expect. There was a small shelf with energy drinks, followed by some stationaries, travel goods, sanitary stuff, etc., etc. There were sweets that came with toys, a shelf of cup ramen and dried food, a fridge, a freezer. It all looked normal. It was late. So the daily dish and packed lunch section was completely empty. This dude is so picky too, just get the cup ramen. The only special thing about this place was a section full of unpacked vegetables that you'd expect to see at the greengrocers. Maybe all rural convenience stores were like this? I wouldn't know. I was slightly surprised by that, but there weren't any local fine foods or anything, so all in all, it was an unremarkable store. If you ignored the clerk anyway. Damn, dude, let it be. I took a drink and brought it to the register. Damn, she got the booth. Yep, she really was the highlight of this place. What kind of clerk smokes while dealing with a customer? We're actually buying? Yes, I was actually buying. She was the clerk, and I'd be her god, excuse me. I'd be her god, the customer.
126 yen.
126 yen, please. She didn't even scan it. This exchange was at the mercy of the clerk. God is dead. All right, aside, chat. $1.26, give or take, is not that bad for like a soda at a convenience store. That's not that bad. Maybe I had to get bro? Maybe I had to get mad at her.
ちょっといいですか?
Can I ask you something?
実は道に迷ってしまって。
I'm kind of lost right now. I quickly turned meek.
町はどっちにあるでしょうか?
Where can I find the nearest town?
あっち。
There.
いや、できれば地図とか。
Don't you have a map or something?
ない。
No. Man, this woman.
いや、そんなはずはないでしょ。コンビニなんて大体道聞かれるから、地図は常備してるもんでしょ。
I'm not sure I believe that. Convenience stores often get asked for directions. You must have a map handy.
知らねえよ。ないもんはねえ。おとなしく来た道戻れよ。
Was that a rule? Well, we don't have one. Go back to wherever you came from.
もう数時間迷ってるもんで。
I've been lost for a few hours
これ以上
now.
はちょっと。
I don't think I can keep this up for much longer.
その辺の床で寝てけば。
Well, then sleep on the floor or something. She had to be joking.
いや、お気持ちだけでいいんで。
I appreciate the sentiment, but I'd rather be on my way. Are you sure you can't help?
ああ、もう、せえな。
Oh, she's
待
pissed.
ってろ。
Fine, fine, fine. Just wait. The clerk put her smoke in the ashtray and went to the staff-only area. She came back in no time.
あったわ。
Oh, you have pretty eyes. Found it. So she did have a map. Of course she did. Even more ill-tempered than usual, the clerk started giving me an explanation.
これがこの店。で、
Yeah.
十字路北へ行け。
Go here. Here's the store. Go north.
うんうん。
Mm-hmm.
しばらくしたら立教があっから。
Find an overpass soon enough. Cross
最初の
it.
分岐のとこに
When you come to a
大岩
fork
があっ
next
か
to
ら
a giant
そこを
boulder,
右折
turn
して
right and head
あとは
straight.
直線
Don't let me forget that, chat. Turn right and head straight.
この道
So this road?
んだよ。
What about it?
いや、この先何もなくないです
There's nothing there.
書かれてねえだけで集落があ
Oh
んだよ。
shoot. Well, there's a settlement over there. Yeah, this sounds like biking, doesn't it? There's a settlement. It's just not on the map.
うんそこ以外なら
Do you know any other places?
藤吉村まで行くには
There's
当然
Fujiyoshi, but it's another 2 hours through the mountain
こっちなら
pass.
30分で
This one's only about 30 minutes away. Fujiyoshi seemed to be a village, and I'd be heading to Fujiyoshi right now. It didn't look too far away, but the road leading to it was a huge, branching mess. It was clearly just a paved mountain pass. I'd had enough of those for one day. I'd probably just get lost again.
じゃあこっち行ってみますありがとうございます
Alright, I'll go to that one then. Thank you.
金
Money?
はい
Money?
払ってねえだろ。
You didn't pay for your tea.
ああじゃあ500円
Ah, well, take 500. Ding, ding, ding.
なぜお釣りを無断で募金箱に入れるんですか
Why did you put the change in the collection box without asking me?
小銭多いとうぜえだろ。
You don't want these coins. Having too many coins is a pain, isn't it? And that was one hell of a line. I casually thanked her, grabbed the plastic bottle of tea. She didn't give me a bag, by the way, and left the store. I drank the tea in the parking lot and looked up at the moon, obscured by clouds, but still bright enough to outshine the light of the convenience store. The clerk put me in a bad mood, though, so I didn't enjoy the sight. I threw the bottle into a nearby trash can and aggressively drove away. Following the directions, I crossed the overpass and arrived at the first fork in the road. The byway she told me about was really narrow. I probably wouldn't have noticed it if not for the tall boulder, standing there like a roadside shrine for some traveler deity. Traveling carefully, I got on the road. A minute later, I found myself in an even worse wilderness than before. A veil of dead leaves covered the ground, tall grass sided the path, and the sky above was blocked by overgrown shrubs, making it feel like I was passing a wooden tunnel. The road itself was a huge red flag. It was a wonder why I didn't just turn around. The exchange from before might have pissed me off more than I thought. Still, I really didn't expect the road to just end. It happened about 15 minutes in. The view ahead suddenly turned strangely dark, and a split second later, my bike tipped forward. Ah. I reflexively hit the brakes, but it was too late. I started going down a cliff. My bike tilted downwards, and its suspension was put to the greatest test yet, as basically we tumbled down to the bottom. The headlights suddenly shone on some dirt and grass, and I knew that I'd be flung out of my seat. Stifling a scream, I tried to work some steering and brake magic to slow down without collapsing. But then, it was too big a task for a simple road bike. At the bottom of the cliff, I jumped higher than ever before. The suspension couldn't handle the impact, and I was launched into the air. A moment later, I heard a crash and felt an impact, after which came an unpleasant pain. Oh. Damn it. Oh. Morphogenic Simon, thank you for the follow. An accident where I was flung out like that was the first for me. The launch really was something. I did a 360 in the air and fell on my back. My breathing stopped for a moment, and the pain was so bad I thought all of my bones shattered. My face and limbs seemed pretty fine at least, though I wasn't sure if I counted as a silver lung. There was grass under my hands. I felt it even through the gloves. That and the smell of grain made it pretty clear what I landed on. I pushed down, and my hands sunk. The grass growth was pretty hefty. It was probably the reason why I came out relatively okay. Sure, my joints creaked when I stood up, but aside from that, I was fine. It was really dark, so I couldn't really confirm it, but I was pretty sure I wasn't even bleeding. My bike, however, wasn't as lucky. Oh boy. It was lying on its side a short distance ahead. The engine was still on. The back wheel kept turning, making an unpleasant fricative, that's a new word for me, fricative noise. Yep, it was busted. I walked up, killed the engine, and took the key. With the headlights off, I was surrounded by absolute darkness, so I just stood and waited until my eyes adjusted. I still couldn't see very clearly, but it looked like it actually wasn't a cliff. I was still on a road. It just wasn't paved beyond this point. Obviously, a road bike stood no chance against an unpaved road. That woman actually tried to kill me. Zigzagging through the trees, I followed a narrow footpath deeper into the forest. I tried getting my bike up and running again, but instantly gave up. It was partially stuck in the mud, so there was a risk of slipping and getting me into another accident. Maybe I had to turn around? The moment I considered that, I thought I saw a faint light ahead. If that woman wasn't lying, this road led to a settlement. Was I close? I reached into my jacket pocket, took out my phone, and opened it up. As you'd expect, I was out of range. I ran the light app and shone a light to see better. Though weak, it was still better than nothing. At the very least, it helped me watch where I was going. I had no idea how long I'd been out walking for. But sure enough, I could see a light beyond the shrubs. It was weaker than expected. A flashlight, perhaps? I could hear water, too. Maybe I'm near a river. Hello? I raised my voice. Hello? Anyone there? Still declaring my presence, I walked forward. It was late at night. Were I to bump into someone here, the scare would probably take a few years out of each of our lives. Yeah, you and me both, buddy. That's why I figured it was best for us both to let the other know that we were here before that happened. However, there was no response. Could they not hear me over the rapids? Hello? I shone my light ahead and realized I'd made it to an opening. Oh. Sure enough, there was a river. Or a stream, rather. I could see slightly more than I had while surrounded by the trees. Straining my eyes, I saw a rocky river beach and the shallows. The light I'd seen was on the other side. From what I could tell, it was either a lantern or a flashlight. And it was close to the ground. I didn't see any people, though. No one responded to my shouting either. I wasn't excited about it, but I decided to step into the water. The cold water quickly soaked my shoes and socks. I could have taken them off, but I figured crossing the river barefooted at midnight was kind of a bad idea. But man, this is cold. I put my phone back into my jacket. I needed both my hands free in case I fell. Not stopping or backing down, I walked toward the light. It suddenly became deeper. The water reached my knees now. Oh, this was too close for comfort. Feeling the bottom with my toes and balancing myself, I somehow avoided losing my footing. The flow was fiercer than I expected. If I'd slipped and fallen, I'd probably be washed away. It suddenly hit me I was doing something really weird, but it was too late to back down. Putting my hands on the boulders and carefully checking what I was stepping on, I gradually made it to the other side. Then, with an unpleasant wet sound with every step, I walked to the light. I could already see it clearly. Yep, it was a flashlight, lying on the ground for some reason. There wasn't much space here. It was a narrow riverbank and a cliff right beside it. As you'd expect, I didn't see or sense anyone nearby. What the hell? Though old, the flashlight was working fine. The strength of the light told me that the battery was pretty full too. That meant that someone was actually using this tonight, or rather, till just a few minutes ago. That was the most logical conclusion anyways. It obviously wasn't left here yesterday afternoon or evening, and yet the user was nowhere in sight. And I was near a river. Did something bad happen? Did the flashlight's owner step into the stream and get swept away? That was the most likely, albeit worst possible scenario. However, the flashlight was left there practically buried in the pebbles. It didn't seem like someone placed it there. It was the dead of night, too. There was no way you wouldn't notice that you dropped your flashlight with it being so dark. Right. The fact that a light source was left in a place like this was strange by itself. With that considered, what was really going on here? What if someone heard my stupid shouting and decided to lure me in with the light so they could ambush me? Okay, scenario chart. What does this mean? Oh, okay, so dense mist. Load? Wait, why do I have to load? Did I hit? Oh, shoot. One of my buttons is a hotkey for loading. Right? One of my buttons on my Stream Deck for one of my facial emotions is a hotkey for this game. I gotta remember that. Here, can I change that setting? Let me do that really quick. Options. Hold on. Can you not set hotkeys? It uses like control shift, whatever. So if the chart randomly pops up, that's why. Okay. What if someone heard my suit? Yeah, okay. Where would they attack from? Above?
こんばんは。
Hello? I heard her voice the moment I looked up. That rock cliff was actually made up of several boulders. There was a face peeking from behind one of them.
こんばんは
Hello?
あー、人だ。びっくりした。
Oh, wow, a person. You surprised me. That was my line.
悪いんだけど、それ取ってもらえます？
Sorry, could you pick that up for me? The voice was feminine. I finally realized what was going on.
落としたってわけですか
So you dropped this? I picked up the flashlight and pointed it at the source of the voice. Yeah! High-pitched voice. Slender hands shielding the light. This guy's a creep. Sure enough, it was a young woman.
眩しいな。
It's so bright.
失礼
Oh, sorry.
ちなみにこっちはこういうものですが
This is me, by the way.
怖いです。下から照らさない。
That's creepy. Don't shine it up from below like that.
実は当方道に迷っており
I'm actually a bit lost.
だとすると、
I
割
think
と
a
究
bit
極的に迷って
is
ます。
something of an understatement then. Yeah, thought as much.
ここって人里です
Is this a settlement?
難しい質問だな。
That's a difficult question.
とりあえず
Can you
助けて
help
も
me
ら
out
え
at
ないか
least?
助ける。
Help.
雨露しのげて野生動物がいなければ
I just need a place to hide from the rain and the wild animals. That's all. Standing on a boulder, the young woman made a pensive face.
じゃあ、うち来ます？
Hey, wanna come to my place? And that was the conclusion she'd arrived at. Her face told me she was 100% serious. Place. My place. By that, she surely meant a house. Settlement, even.
いいんです
Can I?
頼んどいて
I know I asked for help and all that, but
遠慮を忘れてすが
I'm
りたい
actually
程度には
desperate enough
切
to
羽
not hold
詰まってるんです
myself back.
男として？
Huh? As a man?
え
Yes. I mean, no.
え一個の生
As
命
a
として
living being,
数時間迷った
I spent the last
挙句
few hours
バイクで
aimlessly
こけて
driving around only to fall off my
心身とも
bike.
に限界ってわけです
I'm dead tired and at my wit's end here.
あらら。
Oh
な
dear.
ら、見捨てる
Then
のも
what kind of living being would I be if I just abandoned
生
you?
命として
And so, I was saved. Oh, the beauty of living beings looking out for each other.
じゃあ、手、いいです？
Anyways, give me your hand.
ん
Hmm?
そこ。
You can't climb up on your own, right? True. Honestly, I didn't even realize I'd have to. Meeting another person filled me with relief, which was followed by a sudden wave of fatigue. It wasn't crippling, though. She extended her left hand, so I grabbed with my own left. Her slender fingers were stronger than expected. Hey. The girl's name was Chiemi Serizawa. I asked if she was related to the Shinsengumi guy, but she said that her family just adopted the name at some point in the Meiji period. She was a 21-year-old who went to college far away from here. This was her hometown, and she was spending her post-exams vacation here. We chatted about stuff like that once she led me out of the rocky ravine. There was actually a proper path, so the rock climbing was pretty pointless, but I was too focused on my footing to comment. She told me about herself as soon as we reached solid ground.
ちなみにそちらは
And what about you?
名前は久石春明。
I am Haruaki Fusaishi, a graduate student in Tokyo College.
あ、じゃあちょっと
Ah, so
年
you're a
上
bit older.
24だから芹沢さんと3
24,
つ違い
so
かな。
3 years. I'd
でも
say
まあ
we're in the same age
同世代で
range.
しょ。
知恵みでいいですよ
Yeah, so don't you dare be formal with me.
じゃあ僕も
All
呼び
right,
捨てタメ口が
then
いい
you
な。
can be more casual with me as well.
え
Really?
ですか
女の子に親しくされてるみたい
I
で。
like it when
嬉しい
girls are
からね。
friendly with me. This guy's weird. This guy's a creep. I like it when girls are friendly with me.
なるほど
Well, you know,
実
I know
は
what you
私
mean.
も堅苦しい
I
の
don't like
苦手
stiff
なんで
socializing either.
じゃあ遠慮なく
Sure, I'll treat you like a friend.
どうぞどうぞ。
Wouldn't have it any
ち
other
なみ
way.
にまだ結構遠い？
That aside, are we there yet?
うーんそうでもない
Not
か
quite.
な
We're like
もう5分くらい頑張
5
りま
minutes
しょう
away. Hang in there, Chief. What a lively girl. You could tell she was used to people. Used to eating people.
ただ足元に気をつけて
Also, watch your
明かり
step
だけ見て
and just focus on the light.
何かあるの？
Any reason?
この辺石こ
There are a
ろだ
lot
ら
of
けで
pebbles
危ないん
here,
だ
and it's dangerous. The moment she said that, I stumbled on a rock too big to be called a pebble.
あと今夜はずいぶん暗いしね
And it's pretty dark tonight. I couldn't even see the moon anymore. Nodding in agreement, I focused on following the light in her hand.
ちょっと待っててもらえます着
Ah,
替えちゃうんで
I gotta change. Wait here a second. And so, I did just that. Given this was a mountain settlement, I'd expect some old wooden house. But she actually lived in an apartment block. I'd let her eat me. It was too dark to get a good look at it. All I could see were the cheap-looking walls. Like you'd expect from some old boarding house for students. Also, she lived on the second floor, in room 202. I'd heard some raindrops as we were climbing up the rusty stairs, but now it was really pouring. Between that, and the darkness, and the large tree right next to the building, it was nearly impossible to see what was going on outside. It felt like I was all alone in a world of nothing but the walls, the door, and the fluorescent lamp above my head. It made me feel somewhat helpless. I distracted myself from that by imagining her changing. Yeah. Eventually, the door opened up.
お待たせ上がって
Oh, she changed to something cute. Sorry about the wait. Come in. All smiles, she showed herself, now wearing sports clothes. This was kind of exciting.
なんにもないでしょ
Look at this place. It's completely empty, huh?
何にもないね。
Yeah.
でも冷蔵庫の中は
But look at what's in the fridge. What?
素晴らしい。
Oh god, what's in the fridge?
飲みますか
Oh, drinks. Let's drink.
やったぜ。
Hell yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, her place was really empty. It was just a small room with a low table in the middle, a fridge near the door, and a large duffel bag deeper in. There were two old-looking bookshelves too, but they were completely empty. I wasn't bothered one bit though. Any girl's room was Wonderland to me.
じゃあ大変だった春明さんにお疲れ様
Anyway, we went through some big trouble, so cheers to you.
地獄で出会った仏様に。
Cheers to you for helping me out. You are a real saint. We opened our cans, knocked them together, and downed them. Hey, it was actually good. The pleasant bitterness and the refreshing carbonation made for a good combo. Drinking IPAs.
このためだけに生きて
Haha, so good. I live for this.
その若さでそれはな
Come
いでしょ
on. You're too young to be saying that.
言い過ぎた愛や将来
Yeah,
まだ
you're
絶
right.
望してません
I'm not despairing for my future love life yet.
う。
Yeah,
と
right.
ころが 就活とい
You
う
hear
影が
that?
迫る
That's the sound of job hunting. It's a coming here fast.
いややめて
No!
せっかくのビールがまずくなる
Don't say that, you'll ruin the beer. She laughed and took a huge sip. It was pretty clear she could not hold her drink. Well, bro, she's 21. What do you want? That aside, something really bothered me.
お誘いに乗っておいてなんだけど
This might be a bit late for this, but could I ask you something?
何
Of course. Her cheeks were already red. Maybe she didn't handle her liquor as well as I thought. You already thought she didn't, bro. She had a well-featured face, and I didn't think it wrong to consider her beautiful. Sure, her clothes weren't the least bit sexy, but I could tell she had some makeup on.
僕は完全に
So, to you, I'm just a stranger who says he's lost, right?
そうね
Yep.
君は年頃の
And
女性
you
今は
are a young woman who invited that stranger in and then started getting
そ
drunk?
の上アルコールまで入ってしまう
おお
Oh.
身の危険を感じたりとかは
Don't you think that's a bit dangerous? She kept gulping the drink, even as she formulated her response. The very fact that I could just watch her do this made it a pretty risky situation. And yet...
あんまりないかな
No, I wouldn't say so.
それは
But
芹沢千恵美クイ
it's
ズ
time for the Chiemi Serizawa quiz.
イエーイ
Yay?
問題ふと気づいたら低層が瀬戸
Here
際
is the
にも
question.
かかわらず芹沢千恵美
My
は
virginity
特に
is
身の危険を
threatened,
感じない
yet I
なぜ
don't
でしょう
feel I am in danger. Why? I wouldn't answer that. I would not answer that. What a fun girl. This only made me like her more, increasing the danger even further.
質問 OK?
Am I allowed to ask questions?
どうぞ
Yeah, sure.
僕のことがいい人っぽいという答えはなしでいいかな
Can I just assume that it's not because I look like a good guy?
悪い人に見えるってわけじゃないけどまあ
Well,
なしかな
you don't look like a bad guy. But no, I doubt you're good. You look experienced with women. That unintentional compliment showed that she actually did see me as a potential danger. This is... Okay. One of these two needs to turn into a werewolf and maul the other one.
考えられる回答
There
は
are two
大き
types
く
of
二
answers
つ
to this.
想定外
Either
だ
you
が
expect nothing
何が
bad
起
to
きても
happen,
問題ない
but wouldn't be bothered if
もし
it
くは
did.
想定通り
Who says that? Or you actually want something to happen.
うん
This guy reads too many visual novels, actually, is my thought.
前者は
I can think of several situations for the former. For example, you're actually on the edge and don't care about what happens, bro.
あるいは
Or
十分な
maybe you're just
自衛手段
confident you can
がある
defend yourself.
実は護身術の
You know
達人
martial
で
arts, maybe you
僕なん
could
か
kick my
軽く乗せ
ass.
るとかね
おー
Oh, you're so logical, Mr. Scientist.
まあそうかな
I guess you could say that.
つまり
Now,
この状況が君
if
の
it were the
想定通り
latter,
って場合
if you intended for something to happen, then...
例えば私が
Then
エ
what?
ロ
I'm
エ
a
ロです
thirsty
とか
perv or something? Wow, talk about not mincing words.
酔っ払ってきた
Blame it on the booze.
他には
What else is
何がある
there?
でしょう
Well, indeed, what other reason could a woman have to bring a stranger to her home? It would surely be something non-standard, like,
僕の存在が
you want to use me somehow.
例えば
For example, using me like an alibi. I could be useful to you by attesting that you are here.
有利になる
Whoa, that's shrewd.
あるいは
Or maybe you're a serial killer and brought me here to get me drunk and kill me. That's my guess, actually, right now.
はあ
Whoa! So I'm some evil mountain witch now? Sounds great. I'll kill you real good. That's what I was asking. What kind of sound effect was that?
ちなみに
By the way,
出た二つのケースの
you forgot another
一つある
case.
よ
あれ
Oh, I
抜け
did.
てた。
うん
Yep.
私がとっても
I
いい
could
人
just be a
で
really good
黒木さん
person
を助け
who
てあげたい
simply wants to help
一
you.
心だっていうケース
Was it time for me to be ashamed of my filthy mind?
いやでも、
But
それ
wait,
で自分
is
が襲われる
that
かもって考えたら
really important enough to risk being assaulted? Remember, chat, don't be a really nice person and 1 AD too frequently because you risk being assaulted.
ああ襲うって言っちゃったよ
Oh, so you're thinking of assaulting me.
あ
No,
ー
I'm just talking in
一般
general.
論一般論
You know, the cliche scenario. It happens all the time. She stopped talking and turned red. It was so cute, I thought she was actually doing it on purpose. Man, was she drunk. And we were only on our second can. Well, then how about this?
止めない
If I don't let you stay here, something even worse would happen, and I'd feel really bad.
ごめん
Care to
もうちょっ
elaborate?
と詳しく
Sorry?
この辺りには怖い
There's some scary wild animals around here.
明日にはこの人は
You might have gotten
確かに
torn up and
引き裂かれてし
eaten.
まうかもしれませんこのまま見捨て
That
たら
had left a
とても
bad taste in my
悪い
mouth,
思いをするかも
so I
しれ
figured I'd just let you stay
それ
here
なら
instead.
まあ止めてあげようかしら
なるほど
I
リ
see,
ス
I
クと善
see.
意を天秤にかけ
So
る
you're
ってわけ
balancing
か
risk and goodwill.
これは想定外
Didn't expect that.
想定外か
Really now?
この人
You got any idea how much of a
本当は
bad
人なん
guy
じ
you
ゃない
seem
かって
now?
気がしたな
そう
I do?
だって
I mean,
善意を
you
選
assumed I
択
was a
肢に
thirsty
入れない
pervert,
殺
a
人
serial
とか
killer,
アリバイとか
or
いろいろ
needed
と
an
かさ
alibi before even considering that I was a nice person.
ヘロエロは君が言い出したんでしょうが
You're the one who brought up the perf thing.
そうだった
Details, details. So,
で答えは
what's the right answer?
これって単なるバカ
Uh,
話じゃないの
we're not just messing around?
正解者には素敵なプレゼント不正解者はブッシュブッシュ殺します
Get it right, and I'll give you a nice present. Get it wrong, and you're dead. Seriously? Oh god. Okay. You'd feel guilty if you let me die, right? Right. I'm going with the nice guy approach. I'm not trying to boink. I'm not trying to die. I'm trying to be the nice guy.
ピンポーン
Hey, ding ding ding. You're right. Oh, thank God.
まあ実際この
Well, I wasn't joking when I said this area is dangerous. There's deer, boars, dogs, bears. You name it.
鹿とイノシシは実際見た
Oh
けど
yeah, I actually saw deer and boars myself, but bears too.
うん
Yep.
昨日だけどね
Moon bears though.
あんまり多
They
くはな
aren't
い
big,
けど
but they do
昔襲わ
attack.
れた人もいたし
It's pretty dangerous out there.
ちょっと危ない
なんてワイルドな
Wow, that's wild.
でも
But there's something even worse. Oh god. What could be worse than bears?
熊よりヤバい動物
ヘビ、猿、
Snakes,
カラス、
monkeys,
クモ
crows, spiders. Everything, huh? Were they venomous or something? I doubt that. They really didn't seem worse than bears.
あと
Also, wolves. Of course.
日本には狼はいないでしょう
There are no wolves in Japan.
いるかもよ
Yeah, there are.
中には
You're out in the sticks, you know. She smiled and drank out of the third can.
まあ理由がどうあれまんまと美女宅に侵入を果たした春明さんは自分が狼になっちゃうのかな
Yeah, apparently the monkeys are worse than the bears. Speaking of wolves, whatever the reason, you ended up coming into a pretty girl's home. Won't you become a wolf yourself? No, sorry.
紳士
Wow, what a gentleman. Have another one. Cheers. I wasn't too sure, but I feel like she dodged the subject. Perhaps I wasn't being cautious enough. But then again, I had been wandering aimlessly for so long now. I had enough recklessness in me to enjoy sharing a drink with a cute, if not shady, girl. Tomorrow, Monday. Kind of want to load up that scenario and try to be a creeper, but I don't want to start rewinding yet. The last thing I remembered was, when was the last time you pissed yourself while sleeping? Talk. I had to tell her about the time I got so drunk I wet my pants in the middle of the boarding house, bro. She laughed so hard she started frothing at the mouth and passed out. I woke up with a splitting headache. Oh, we're hungover. Oh, man. Morning already? Light poured in through the frosted window. I pulled out my phone and checked the time. 7 in the morning. I'd gone to sleep somewhere between 2 and 3, which probably wasn't quite enough sleep. At least I didn't wake up to some horror movie scene. The building was in ruins, and the girl wasn't actually a skeleton. Though, in a way, this might have been worse. Ugh. She was spread on the floor on the other side of the mini table. Breathing was mixed with some sort of weird gurgling sounds. I hesitantly looked at her. The saint that had saved me from the hell last night had puked in the middle of her sleep. What was I supposed to do here? As a guest, I couldn't really be too harsh on her.
Chiemi-chan?
Hey, Chiemi-chan. She wasn't waking up. Well, I'd do what I could. There. That should be good enough. I'd used tons of toilet paper to clean up her mess and flush it down the toilet. Yeah, been there, bro. It left a stain on the floor, but it was dirty to begin with, so whatever. I'd even wet a towel and cleaned her face, and even then she showed no signs of waking up. Some of it was in her hair and in her clothes, but I figured she could take care of that herself.
Chiemi-chan.
Chiemi-chan.
朝
Morning. The first hint of consciousness so far today.
ちょっと出ておくから。
I'll be leaving for a bit. Without waiting for a response, I walked to the entrance. She'd have to take a shower and change and all that, so I'd kill time outside. I stepped into my still damp shoes with my bare feet. My socks were in the washing machine with the towel she gave me to wipe my legs, and reached for the doorknob. I opened the door and was greeted by a gust of wind. Ah, it's nice out. The raindrops gathered on the leaves of the tree next to the building flew right into my face, making me grimace. The rain from last night was already over. The sky was pretty clear, but despite that, I noticed the visibility of my surroundings was poor. The building was surrounded by leaves. The old structure was basically buried in a forest of trees about as tall as itself. There were branches poking into the exposed hallway. I almost felt like they'd reach out and grab me if I wasn't careful. I kind of felt like I was in an overgrown ruin. I turned around and saw the room in Chiemi just as I left them. Yep, it was all real. I closed the door. There were other rooms in this building, which made me wonder if they were occupied. Hell, I wondered the same thing about the area in general. I pushed the branches aside to see if there were other buildings nearby. Suddenly, something entered my vision. It didn't feel right. Something that shouldn't have been there. The leaves I moved revealed a woman clad in curious clothing. The moment I recognized her, she opened her closed eyes. Did our eyes meet? Another strong wind, and I had to shield my face from the spray of raindrops. Yeah, of course, and she's gone. The woman was nowhere in sight. Magic Man made it to Winners Finals? Say, who's Magic Man play? Wait, that means he beat someone good. What kind of place is this? It could have been a real Hicksville, a marginal village, a bunch of actual ruins, or an illegal settlement. I had some theories, but I set them aside for now. It seemed like a place worth exploring regardless. Oh, they beat shampoo. All right. Oh, very cool. I went down the stairs and found no sign of the woman, or anyone else for that matter. A short distance away from the building, I turned around and sure enough, it was pretty much covered in the trees. I went to the place where I saw the woman. There were footprints in the grass, so maybe I'd find her if I followed them. Oh, they led me to an open area. It was unused, but it looked like someone was trying to do something with it. Was this a construction site? Even if it was clearly abandoned. There were large rocks and lots of sediments near a prefab. From what I could tell, there had been a giant landslide which forced them to stop construction. The fact that plant growth was still minimal meant that it had happened fairly recently. The footprints seemed to be going down the hill next to the site. Following them, I finally saw something that could be called civilization. There was a set of paddy fields with houses nearby, so this actually was a settlement. Phew. What a relief. I decided to keep following the footprints and approach the settlement. I came across another unpaved path that was clearly used by both people and cars. It was lined with weeds and bushes reaching up to my waist. It's home to caterpillars and grasshoppers, among other things. Hold on, who pinged me? Sorry, it's going to freeze for a second. I want to make sure this isn't important. Oh, it's Bedman Tech. Funny. Spiders were no exception. There was no shortage of insects there, so it's a good place for a net. I wasn't particularly scared of spiders, but I didn't like them either. At least they were just harmless orb weavers. Like Seth. Regardless, I avoided these bushes, just in case, and I followed the path like the good city boy that I was. There was a large boulder surrounded by grass. It was strangely tall, making it look like it was put there by people. On its dewy surface, there was a gray tree frog, ready to go after the many insects scattered around. Oh, I don't like frogs, man. I walked a bit further and came across a house with a small field nearby. The field's location made it safe to assume it belonged to the inhabitants. And if there were any inhabitants, I couldn't see anyone. And just like always, there was grass everywhere. There was another boulder standing next to the house. This one was obviously placed there by a human hand. What was the point? Was this a monument or something? The footprints continued into the field. The wet mud on the field was just full of small, young but healthy-looking rice plants. If you ignore the standing boulders in the area, well, this looks like a normal farming village. I was both relieved and worried at the same time. From what I saw, there weren't any other buildings besides the ones in this settlement. Everything beyond was just mountains, meaning that this place is completely isolated. And I was a complete outsider. There was no way things would go well if I ran into a random local. I belatedly crouched to hide myself a bit. It was probably best for me to go back. Chammy might have been looking for me. Suddenly, I hear a sound. Oh, hell no. I looked for its source and found a speaker on a wooden utility pole in the middle of a small plaza. Uh-oh. A morning broadcast? I never heard this tune before. It was cheerful at first, but had some parts that seemed really dark. I find it unsettling. I, too, find it unsettling. Perplexed, I stopped walking, and what happened next made me hide myself. There was a person in the area densely surrounded by houses, but they weren't normal. Ah! Oh my god. Lady is scaring us. What was with that appearance? What's that on her face? Though it was a fair distance away, I could see an old woman with some sort of cloth on her face. Grandpa jump scare. It's some woman shakily walk out from between the buildings, and then she just ducks. Oddly enough, there were boulders even here. Oh, there she is again. Get the fuck away, Granny. But even weirder was the fact that she walked up to one of them, joined her hands, and bowed her head before it, her face still hidden. Then all was silent. It actually looked like she was revering it. To me, it looked like she was praying to it. This is bad. Really bad. I wandered into a settlement with a unique culture, to put it lightly. Yeah, you see she like creeped over here by me too? Get out of my face, lady. Forget causing trouble. An outsider like me could get killed here. I just turned around and bolted. I dashed up the hill, past the house. Oh god, no. Through the construction site until I arrived back at the apartment building. Chemi looked like a relatively reasonable person. Maybe she could tell me what's up. It just hit me that she described this place as somewhat weird. She basically said it wasn't normal. Oh god.
あるいは、ちえみちゃんが恐るべき殺人鬼で、僕を酔っ払わ
Or
せて
maybe you're a serial killer who brought me.
はあ、ヤマンバ。いいね。ブッシュブッシュ殺しちゃ
I hate the heartbeat too. No way. What if she was actually the bait that they used to lure outsiders here? Oh god. Eventually, the broadcast stopped. Chemi still hadn't come out of her room. She didn't respond even when I knocked or called out to her. I don't have to worry about this, right? Just made my inexplicable unease, grow worse. What if this is a trap? Was I in a dangerous situation? I had to talk to her. She was a normal person anyways. Maybe my best option was to run away right now. I wouldn't know where to run to, though. I can't remember the path we took here, though. I was pretty sure we went uphill, so maybe if we go downhill, and if I avoid the settlement and went back to the mountain stream, I could follow the wild roads. Yeah, that was my best option, even with the difficulties considered. Thankfully, I brought my bag with me. I took out a 5,000 yen note and put it in Chemi's newspaper box. It was payment for last night's beer. The moment I turned around to take my leave, the door to the room next to the staircase opened slightly with a creak. Oh my god. I saw an eye glaring at me through the gap. Oh my god. Her high-pitched scream pierced my eardrums. I screamed too, scared shitless, and I ran. Suddenly, I stepped into the wet hallway floor at a bad angle, and I fell. Womp. Thud, thud, thud.
Haru-chan!
Haru-chan? Wait, this is someone else. Who's this?
誰このおっちゃん
Whoa, who's this old guy? These are different. God, I need more voices now. Oh, God.
あなた、誰ですか
So this guy's
って
like...
いうか、大丈夫ですか
He's like back here. Who are you? And are you alright? The reasonable sounding voice prompted me to shake off the pain and raise my head. There were two boys in formal looking school uniforms.
大丈夫ですか
Are you alright? He repeated the question. Yeah. I was just startled.
おっちゃんちえねえの友達
Are you friends with Chiene? Chiene?
ああ、ちえみちゃんのこと
You
か。
mean Chieme-chan?
大学の知り合いです
Are you a
か
friend of hers from
お
college?
知り合いが来るなん
She
て
didn't tell us
聞いてな
anyone
か
was
った。
visiting.
いや、
Oh, I just got into some trouble and she helped me out.
怪しいものじゃないんだ。
Trust me, there's nothing
怪し
shady
く
about
見え
me.
るだろうけど
Though I know that's hard to believe.
怪しいな
It really is, old man.
どうすればい
Man,
いのか
how do I handle this?
とりあえず、
Anyways,
名前は房石春
my name's
と言います
Haruaki Fusaishi.
僕は織部安永です。
I'm Yasunaga
鴨
Oribe.
志田近持ち。
This is Chikamochi Kamoshida. Kamoshida? Just Mochi is fine. Good to know. If I called him that, maybe he'd stop calling me old man. I was only 24.
それでこっちが、
And this is Haru-chan.
はるちゃん何してんの
And this is Haru-chan. What are you doing?
だって知らない人が
We don't know him. Apparently this is Haru-chan, was the person who'd looked at me through the gap in the door and screamed.
とりあえず大丈夫そう
He
だから
seems safe.
出ておいでよ
Come out. A moment later, she slammed the door shut, and after a few more moments of hesitation, opened it again. Whoa. She looked like a student too, except her fashion sense was exceptionally flashy. Ha! Nerd.
あなた誰ですか？
Who are you?
久石春明と言っ
Name's
て
Haruaki Fusaishi. I'll get this right one time. I crashed my
芹沢
motorbike
千恵美さんに助けられ
nearby
たん
and
だ
Chiemi-san helped me out.
それって
Wait,
もしかして
are you saying you spent the night in her room?
知恵ねえの
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
騒がしかったと思った
Oops, shit, I
何
hit the
考え
button.
てるの？嫁入り前の女性の家に
Oh, it's not pausing. So that's why it was so noisy. What were you thinking? You're not supposed to enter an unmarried girl's room. It's indecent.
ああ
Yeah, I was
それは
hesitant
その
too,
通
but
りで
Chemi-chan
僕
was
もちょっと
kind
躊
enough
躇
to
は
let
した
me
んだ
in.
けど
ちえみちゃん
Chemi-chan? Why are you acting like you've known her your whole life? Wait, she's not getting out.
ちえねえが
Don't tell me you...
ドアに5000円挟んであるじゃん
There's a 5,000 yen note in the door. Nope, not doing it. Not waking my parents.
久石さん
Don't tell
まさ
me
か
you...
違う違う違う
No, 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 no.
単に
She
昨日
just gave me
お
lots
酒
of
をもらえ
booze
た
and
から
I'm
そのお
paying
返
her
しだ
back for that.
ちえねえの体が5000円
Chene-san's body is worth more than that.
ただれてるな
How dissolute. The hell were these kids saying?
ああ君
Hey,
助けて
buddy,
くれないか
can you help me out?
初対面で
You
女性の
drank
部屋
with
で
a
お
girl
酒を
you
飲んだんです
just
か
met? And
そ
she's
して
not coming
知恵
out.
は出てこない
Oh, crap. I had no allies here.
一体何事
What's going on? And so the subject of the conversation joins in.
おおちえみちゃん
Oh,
君からも事情
Chimi-chan,
を
can you tell them what happened last night? And before she doesn't remember. Something was off about her aura. What happened to the lively girl she was yesterday?
知恵ねえまさか
Chiene, did you...
恥ずかしいとこ
Oh man, this is embarrassing.
おお
Oh.
いやちょっと待ってちょっと
Wait, stop, stop, stop.
もう嫁いけない
I can't be a bride anymore. Man, what a mess. Though Chimmy's face was all pale, she was actually grinning. She obviously had a bad hangover, but that didn't stop her from messing around. Yeah, we support Chimmy-chan here, I think, in this chat room. After calming everyone down, Chimmy explained what actually happened. How we met in the middle of the night, how she let me stay out of goodwill, how we drank ourselves silly, and now nothing happened between us.
いやー久々に深酒しちゃって思いっきり入っちゃったよ
Man, it's been so long since I drank that much.
お見苦しいとこ
Guess I wasn't
申し訳
prepared
ない
for it and puked it out. Sorry you had to see that, Haraki-san.
ああいやそれはいいんだけど
Oh, I don't mind. Hey, I don't mind. That Haru-chan girl still looking at me funny. She's got the death stare.
非常識
Absurd.
ああうん
Anyway,
申し訳ない
sorry, I was so tired yesterday that I
Kiro wa
couldn't
hontou ni
refuse her
hiroe
kindness.
まあ知恵ねえ
Well,
だしな
this is Chiene we're talking
雑把だよ
about.
な
She does what she wants.
事情も事情だし
He's got good reasons for being here too, so maybe the elders will understand. Elders?
ちなみに会ったのってどこです
Where'd you find him anyways?
それはね
Well...
下の方の河原だよ
Oh, it was next to the river further down. My words made everyone change their expressions.
それは
That's a bit...
大騒ぎだ
That's a big deal!
2日連続で2人もだなんて
Two people over just 2 days.
もしかしてまずいこと言った
Did I say something bad?
まあ
Well, it was gonna get out sooner or later.
さっ
We
きあれ
made
だけ
quite a
大騒ぎ
scene,
しちゃったから
so I wouldn't be
別に
surprised if
別に
everyone in
忘れちゃったらしい
Yasumizu already knows.
君 2日連続で2
Hey,
人もって
what
何のこと？
did you mean by 2 people over just 2 days?
触らないで汚い
Get your hands off me. You're filthy. Ow. Is that the Taco Bell noise? That's the think outside the bun gong. I wasn't trying to touch her, and I wasn't filthy. I mean, sure, I hadn't had a bath in over a day, but still.
君、何が騒ぎに
Hey,
なるの？
kid, why is that a big deal?
タエバあたりが拒否ってなる
Taiba's gonna go, yee! I think she already did. Well, that sounds bad.
詳しい話を聞かせてくれ
You,
ない？
can you tell me more?
ちょっと説明
It's
は
a bit
難しいんです
complicated.
けど。
For now, just keep in
まあ
mind that this is the
ここは田舎なんで
countryside. Things are
街
different
と
here than in
色
the
々
city.
違うってことですよ。
This guy here was Oribe-kun. Ignore Chieme. He was the easiest person to talk to.
どうすればいいかな？
So, what should I do?
まあちえみがなんとかしましょ
Just
う
leave it to me, alright?
学生諸君は
And it's time for
とりあえず
students to
ご飯行
eat,
かないと
isn't it?
この混
Huh?
乱に
But I
は
want to
乗
see
る
where
っ
the
きゃない
mess goes.
乗るっきゃなくない
No, you
こ
don't.
っち
Just go
とり
already.
あえず行っちゃいな
We'll catch up.
私ら
まあ、ちょっと時間ずらした方がいいよ
Well,
ね。
I guess it's best to go separately. There's probably going to be some disagreements.
さすがヤス君察しがいいぞ
Yeah, I knew you'd
ごめ
understand,
んけど
Yasukun.
二人の思い
Take care of them
よろしく
for
ね
me, alright?
うん。
Yep.
もう知恵ね子供扱いはやめてよ
Hey, stop treating me like a child.
そうだうんこしてやるぞ
Yeah, I swear I'll poop on you. Bro? Where's the bloodshed? We'll see.
ほらほら行くぞ、モッチーにはるちゃん。
Let's just get going, you two. It's a slow starter. We had a grandma jump scare. That's about it. And so the students walked off toward the stairs. It was kind of easy to tell what sort of relationship they had. Anyway,
彼らがこの建物の他の住人？
so they live in this building too?
そういうこと
Yep.
学生寮だからね
This is the student dorm. A student dorm? In this Hicksville? Still, my senses had betrayed me. There actually were other people here.
ちなみに春明さん
By the
他の
way,
人と出会って
you didn't run into
トラブ
anyone
ったり
else
してない
and
よ
get
ね
into trouble, right? Yeah,
一応それ
I
を警
was
戒してたか
careful
ら。
on that front.
ならよかった
Alright, good.
よし
Let's get ready to go to the dining hall.
あ、
Oh,
朝食？
breakfast?
の
Nope.
朝食は今から食べ
Eat
て
your
ください
breakfast now. We're going to the
食堂
dining
は
hall to
一応
introduce
面通し
you.
をしに行くの
誰と？
Okay. To who?
よそ者が皿長からやってきたってこと
To
で
whoever has an
文句を言いそう
outsider,
な
a
人
problem
た
with an outsider coming from Saranaga. Oh, so that Taeba person, huh?
お世話になります。
Then I am in your hands.
ちいいってことです
It's fine. If you're that
そ
grateful,
の代わり
keep what happened this morning as a
朝のこと
secret.
は
Uh-huh.
秘密で
そりゃもちろん。
Sure thing.
ところで、
What's Saranaga anyway? Is that the river?
そう
Yes.
皿長の
The river is called
セットに
Saranaga Rapids,
あの
but
辺
the area
は
around it is
サラナ
called
ガって呼ぶの
Saranaga.
ちょっと
The
曰く
place
のあ
has
る
some
場所
cultural
でね
significance.
いわく。
It does?
うん
Yep.
あの川
They
は
say it's a
汚れて
corrupt
いて
place where the dead
死人が
return from the other
帰
side.
ってく
Very
るみたい
cool.
な伝説がね
Oh. So that's why they reacted like that.
他にもその手のルールという
Am
か
I、dead?
しきたりみたいなのが？
Any other rules or customs I should be aware of?
たくさんあります
Oh, there's
な
lots.
ので
So
基本
just leave
ちえみ
everything
ちゃ
to
ん
me,
にお
alright?
任せを
Gladly. On all fronts. Alright. Calling it now, chat. This is my prediction. We're all dead. This is like hell or something. We're all dead.
ちなみに、身の危険とかは？
If I may ask, am I in danger?
ないない
No.
でも
But you should try to escape before something unpleasant happens
早く
to
出
you.
ていけた方がいい
そのための根回し
And
に行く。
you're going to set up the groundwork for that, huh?
そうそう
Yes, indeed. The settlement I strayed to was a weird place, but at least my guide was reliable. And she wanted me to leave as soon as possible, huh? Hmm? That was depressing. Feels bad, man. GF doesn't want you to stay. Chimmy gave me some cup ramen for breakfast. She boiled the water in a small electric kettle. Girl herself was too hungover to eat anything. I did take the opportunity to pay her back for last night's drinks in person, though. Then we made our way to the dining hall.
この岩って何なの？
What are these boulders, anyways?
一応お守り
They're
みたい
like
なもの
charms, I guess. They've been here forever.
よそでは見たことない
I've
よ。
never seen anything like them anywhere else.
ああ言われた
Oh
らそう
yeah,
か
I
も
guess they are kind of unique to this area. She led me along a narrower path that I'd followed earlier. It didn't seem like any cars used this path. It's very farmy, I guess. This area was also littered with these boulders. Some were cracked, broken, half buried in the fields. They were clearly religious symbols, but it didn't look like they were that important these days. Or were they? Now that I knew I was safe, I once again became curious about this place.
人だ。
Oh, look, a person. He was working in the field.
匠兄ちゃんだ
Ah, that's Takumi Ni-chan. Good morning. Chimmy waved her hand. The man responded, but then froze mid-wave.
じゃあ行きましょう
All right, let's go.
いいの？
Are you sure we should?
僕の存在に驚いたんじゃ。
That guy looked pretty surprised to see me.
大丈夫
Ah,
ど
don't
うせ
worry.
後で食堂に
He'll
来
be
る
at
か
the
ら
dining hall soon.
説明は
We'll
その時
explain
にする
everything
って
there.
ことで
Well, if she says so. As an outsider, I had no choice but to rely on her. This was the part of the village I saw this morning, where the buildings were more densely packed. And I didn't notice it back then, but it's actually kind of weird. Basically, it all feels desolate. The wooden bungalows, in particular, were more or less overgrown, buried in tall grass and the greenery. If this was all I saw of the village and someone told me it was abandoned, I'd have easily believed them. However, two of the buildings stood out. And there was a hall right behind the hill. It wasn't that big, but it looked grand and well maintained. The other building was obviously the dining hall. It looked a bit dirty, but I could tell there were people inside, and from what I could tell, it was the most lively place in this poor excuse for a community. Suddenly, the three students walked out, chatting about something.
あ、知恵ね。
Ah, Chiene and Fusaishi-san.
再度おはよう
Hey, good morning
ちょっと
again.
遅くない
Aren't you late?
モッチーがバカなことばっかり言って
We took
遅くな
forever
っちゃった
because
んだ
Mochi won't stop saying nonsense.
そうだ僕が悪だ味噌汁を
Yeah,
よこせ
I am evil. Give me miso soup.
まあ早足なら間に合うでしょ
Oh, you'll
みんな
make it if you
しっかり
hurry.
勉強しといで
Behave in class, you all. Half dashing, the three ran up the path that we came from.
みんな高校生なんだ。
So, they're all in high school, huh?
そう
Yep.
山をぐ
There's a
ー
branch
っと登
school
ったところ
all
に
the way up the
文庫がある
mountain.
んだ
I was going there myself 3
私も
years
3
ago.
年前まで通ってたな
やたら不便だね。
That sounds like a hassle.
それでもみんな
It's not all
あ
bad.
の寮に住める
At least we get to live in that
優遇されてる
dorm.
んだけど
Chemi was entirely straight-faced. There wasn't even a hint of a smile.
さあ気合を入れて
All right, let's get psyched.
そうしましょう。
Yeah. He did not
気合
sound
入
excited.
んない
I'm not convinced. We laughed a little and passed the curtain.
いらっしゃい。あら、
Welcome. Oh. The inside was aged as the outside, but it looked well maintained.
ちえみちゃん、お客さん？
Chieme-chan, is this a visitor? The hostess-looking lady asked. Though somewhat aged and fatigued, she was definitely beautiful. There were two others beside her. Oh, God. One was a lady in her 70s or 80s. She was probably the one I saw this morning. The silhouette matched. The other was a man who seemed a bit younger than her, probably in his late 60s. Though they were just sitting there was a menacing aura about them.
うん紹介するね
Alright, I'll introduce him. This is Haraki Fusaishi. I found him at Saranaga last night and took him into my care. Their reactions were powerful. The lady gasped while the two elders rose to their feet with alarm. The tension that was already there the moment I walked in reached its peak. I know you're concerned, but this is just a coincidence. Unlike that little girl, he knows exactly where he came from. He went on an old path with his bike and crashed. It's actually really sad. That's why I think we should help him leave. What do you think? After saying all that, Chieme fell silent. The ball was in their court now. Oh, now that is troubling. The lady voiced a harmless opinion, careful not to upset the old people. It was pretty clear who was in charge. They were elders in more ways than one. Chi-chan, why do you even go to Saranaga at night? I had a hunch, I guess. You know what happened? I couldn't fall asleep. Then he's gotta be a yombito. I don't know what that is, and I said it with a Spanish accent, but that's definitely not how you're supposed to say it. Shut up, Taiba. From the conversation, it was pretty clear that something had happened before I'd arrived here. It was probably similar to what happened with me. She'd mentioned some little girl. Perhaps there was a child who wandered in here like I did. According to Chieme, the Saranaga Rapids were a place of significance around here. It was a place from which dead people came to life or whatever. So this Tai must have been the lady the boy mentioned, and the Yombito must have been a term from the dead who came from there. Oh, like zombie. Apparently, the primary goal here was convincing these elders to approve helping me. Hey, where are you from? The old man's voice put a derailed mind back on track.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm from Tokyo. How old are you?
年は24です。
24. Older than Chie, huh? He chuckled. I immediately realized he was taking a jab at me for hiding behind a younger girl. Yeah, nice to meet you.
久石春明です。
I am Haruaki Fusaishi. Like she said, I wandered into town after my bike crashed. I seem to be a total outsider here, so I don't want to speak out of turn. That's why I asked her to talk on my behalf, but I think I should say something, at least. I won't trouble you any longer than I have to, so I would be grateful if you pardoned my brief stay. And please don't blame her for helping me. Hey, Haruaki-san. I think she went against this village's customs by helping me out. The students also seem surprised. My. I'm an adult. I'm willing to take any responsibility for any trouble that I cause, as best I can. So, please put up with me. And I bowed my head. He seems alright to me, Taiba. I don't know about that. Look at his hair, all colored brown. Shit, I forgot I didn't look very presentable to more traditionalist people. Bro, is this about his hair color? What? Not blonde hair, blue eyes? Outsiders are all just like that. Just help me get out of here, I says. Do what you want. I guess I got their half-hearted approval. Haruaki. Haru, like my granddaughter. What a mess. Oh, so that means you're... Yep, he's Haru-chan's grandpa, Kanzo Makishima. Pleased to meet you. I didn't know what else to say. Haru-chan and I were not exactly on the best of terms so far. Anyways, it seemed like we were past the difficult part. Oh, I see. Interesting. Drove into Saranaga, eh?
Yeah.
No, actually, I asked for directions at the convenience store and went down a side road and ended up losing control, and here I am. And then you went Saranaga? Why didn't you turn around? He wasn't impressed by my choice of actions. It just hit me that I had no idea how much time passed between the crash and meeting Chieme. Takamine and I'll go see it. Takumi's working in the fields. It's to get him to leave. Let the boy help. Oh my god, this guy's got the accent. Oh, Kan-chan, you never change. Oh shit, hello. What's going on here? Gaston looking motherfucker over here. We're joined by a new inhabitant.
ちえみ、こ
Hey,
いつは
Chime. Who's that guy?
あ、たくみ姉ちゃん。
Ah, Takumi Nichan. Oh, so he was the one we saw in the field. This guy's got the Gordeau bod. Wow, he sure looked big from up close. Yeah. I'll say. All that field work was good for his muscles, clearly, and from what I could tell, he was in his 30s. As Chime introduced me and told him of my situation, I found out his name, Takumi Muro.
ああ、そいつは災難だ。
Man, that must have been hard.
ああ
So,
おやっさん
Old man Kanzo
わしとお前で拾う
will pick it up.
だな。
Also,
ばあちゃん。
Tai Ba-chan, wait a bit. While I help this
もう農
guy,
薬は巻き終わってる
I
から
already spread the stuff on the field, so I'll mow the grass next at noon.
たくみは優しい。
Ah, what a good boy. I want to voice him as Hulk Hogan.
こんなのなんでもない。
It ain't a big deal. I'll be so quick you think nothing happened.
そうね。
Good to ear. Good to ear. Nothing, eh?
お兄ちゃんや。
Boy.
え、
Oh,
僕ですか？
me?
はい。
What's up?
ここは安い。
You're in Yasumizu.
あんま
It
り
ain't a
いい場所
good
じゃない
place. It was the place that wasn't good, not me.
私らもよその
We don't like outsiders here, and outsiders should let sleeping dogs lie.
じゃから
So you should hurry and leave.
はい。そのつもりです。
That is the plan.
話はついた感じか。
So it's settled?
うん。
Yep.
ありがとう、たくみ兄ちゃん。
Thanks, Takumi-chan. I was beginning to understand how things worked here. Although Kanzo Makishima's voice was the most powerful here, it was also important to get Tai-san's approval. Kanzo-san was probably in charge of tackling the settlement's practical problems, and Tai-san provided the spiritual and moral direction. That makes sense. And when it was time to be civilized, Takumi-san came and convinced Tai-san, acting as an intermediary. Looked like Takumi-san himself understood such subtleties, and Chime seemed to rely on this side of him.
はいここらで一つ
Oh,
どうぞ
here you go. The lady brought some tea to the old folk. Excuse me. The lady brought some tea to the old folk. Perfect timing.
おお、香りさん。
Oh, Kaori-san. Looking forward to getting some food. So that was her name.
えへ
Ah, sure.
朝
I'll make a
早くから
lot.
お疲れ様
It'll be a reward for waking up early and working
大盛りにします
hard.
からね
Hey, I'm doing it for Yasumizu, Ba-chan, and you. It's nothing, really.
まあ
Oh my. Those two sure seem to get along. They look about the same age, too.
さあお客さんもご飯にされます
Would you like something to eat, too?
あ、いえ、いただいてきたので。
No thank you. I already ate.
それじゃあお茶を
Alright,
ど
well
うぞ
then here's some tea.
おにぎりで
I can
も
also
お出
get
し
you a
し
light
ましょう
snack if you'd like. What would you say to some onigiri?
ああ、それはそれは。
Oh, that would be...
ごめんなさい。ちょっと
sorry,
次で電話
can we borrow
借り
the
ていいかな
phone?
香織さん。
We need it quick.
それはいいけど
Sure,
お茶
but why
く
not
らいは
have some tea first?
うん、ありがとう。
Thanks,
でも
but
本当
this is
緊急
urgent.
だから 行こう
Let's go,
ハルアキ
Haruaki-san.
うん。
Sure. It didn't look like I could say no. We went up the nearby stairs to what seemed like a living space. At the end of the creaky hallway, there was a black rotary phone. Wow, a rarity in this day and age.
これがここ、安水唯一の電話だから。
This is the only phone in all of Yasumizu, by the way. Wow,
ち
seriously?
なみに、携帯
Oh,
電話は
and
どのキャリア
not a
も
single
通じま
mobile
せんの
service
で
provider works in this area.
そうなのか。
Oh, really?
でもどこに電話しろっ
So,
て？
who do you want me to call, anyways?
ロードサービスとか、
Road
保険
service,
とか、あと
insurance,
必要なら家
your
族にも連
family,
絡。
anything like that? Oh, yeah, that made sense. Hell, I should have been the one to say that.
さっきも言ったけど、
Like I said, it's best if you left as soon as possible, so you should use everything you have.
よそ者が歓迎されない場所だから。
Because outsiders aren't welcome here?
そういうことです。
Yep.
それ以上の詮索
And
は
I
無
shouldn't
用
pry any further, huh?
ハ
Nope. You catch
ルア
on
キさん
quickly.
はとっても
That's good.
察しがいい。 ただ
But
好奇心も
you also
とって
seem
も
really
強く見え
curious.
る。
バレたか。
Oh, it shows, huh?
バレますとも。
Of course it does.
でも
Honestly,
正
though,
直
you should avoid
あんま
sticking
り
your
いろい
nose
ろ
into
首突っ
things
込まない方が。
どうせすぐに別れるんだし。
because we'll part ways soon anyways.
その通り。
Exactly.
なんだか寂しいな。
That's kind of sad.
ちえみちゃんのメアド御所も
Well, do you want my contact info?
くれるならぜひ。
Well, if you'd be willing to give.
やったこれで
Sure.
お友達
Yay.
53人
That makes you guy number 53 on the list.
テンションガタ落ちですわ。
Damn. If that ain't a letdown. We still went on to exchange our info. I could only hope that being under number 53 wasn't as big of a deal as it sounded.
それはともかく、
Anyways,
個人的興味で言えば、
I'd still like to know the
何が
reason why
問
me
題にな
being
って
here
て
is such a big
どん
deal.
な背
おすすめしないな
I don't recommend it.
なぜかな。
But why?
私が不愉快になるか
Well,
ら
because it would make me upset.
あんまり故郷が好きじゃない。
You don't like it here?
うん
Yeah.
正直
I
嫌い
actually hate it here.
ここの人とは仲良さそうに見えるけど、
You seem to get along with all the people, though.
ああそれは見えるだけですね
That's just how it
私
looks.
相当の
I
問
was a
題児だったんで
huge problem
ご年
child,
配方
so
とは結構気まず
I
い
feel kind of awkward around all the older folk here.
それに
And
パッと
there's
見はわからない
tons of things you
いろんな
can't
し
see
がら
right
みもある
away.
し
Oh, but
まあ
I can't
住
say I
人
actually
自体
hate
は
the
そんな
people.
に嫌いじゃないけどね
With that, I decided to stop prying about this place any further. I'd back away before she came to hate me.
あ、でも、
Oh,
一つだけ聞いていい？
can I ask one thing, though?
いい度胸
Okay,
何
gutsy.
かな
Go ahead, Tokyo.
室匠さんのこと好きだったりする？
Wow, of all the questions. Do you like that Takumi Muro guy?
私が
Me? Like him?
うん。
No
さすがにそれは
way.
ないな
Takumi Nichan's cool and all, but he's too rugged and over a decade older than me. He is out of my strike
対
zone.
象それに匠
And
兄
he's
ちゃんは
always only
昔
had
から
eyes for
香織
Kaori
さん
san.
一筋だし
やっぱそうなんだ。
It sure felt like
結
it.
婚してるわけじゃないの？
Are they married or something?
うん香織
No
さん未亡人だから
Kaori san's a widow. That aside, Chiemi had been acting a bit strange. Why had she dragged me away from the tea? It seemed so awkward, too. Assuming she hadn't been jealous of Kori-san and simply didn't want her to charm me, I would mean that she just hadn't wanted me to drink the tea. Oh. Why? Also, why'd she feed me cup ramen if I could have just gotten food at the dining hall? Looking too deep into things was part of my nature, though things were never as bad as I assumed. I went to call my insurance company, where I found out something. Apparently, this village was hundreds of kilometers away from the nearest service station, meaning I was ineligible for normal service and would have to pay extra. And the extra was no small amount, too. It actually went over 100,000 yen. Also, I could have avoided this if I had taken a more expensive plan. This was all my own fault for not taking the bike salesman's advice. Shit. I said I would consider and hung up. Then I went back to the dining hall.
あれ、おじいさんたちは。
Oh, hey, where did everybody go? The customers had changed completely. Tai-san, Kanzo-san, Takumi-san were all gone now. They were all replaced by a caricature of a juvenile delinquent. Oh my god, who is this clown? How do I voice this guy? I want to voice him like Kuwabara, but I can't do a Kuwabara voice. Who the fuck are you? He shouted at me. It seemed like he was trying so hard. He then slammed his bowl and chopsticks on the table and stood up to intimidate me. Hi, I'm Haruaki Fusaishi. Oh, what the hell? You wanna go?
まあ吉次初対面の方になんて口の利き方を
Yoshitsugu, my goodness. You don't talk like that to someone you just met. Shut up, hag. Chene, who the hell's this asshole?
バイクで事故った旅行者の春
It's
秋さ
gonna
ん
kill my throat. Haruaki-san, a traveler who crashed his bike. Boy, was this introduction half-assed.
改めて
Let me introduce them to you. This is Kaori Oribe and her second son, Yoshitsugu-kun. Yasunaga-kun's the first. You met him earlier. Huh?
Yasunaga-kun.
Oh, Yasunaga-kun, yes. Yep, it may not look like it at first, but they're alike. Don't you think? The Oribes, what an unpredictable family. Oh, and she's a widow, right? So, like, I guess her husband died, and this one became very rebellious, and the other one became, like, a very, what's the word, like, head-down, focused student. Stop talking about bro, you ugly bitch.
そう言われてもな
You can call me that all you want. I'm confident in my popularity. And from what I've seen, that confidence was well justified. Hey, fuck off back to the city, idiot. Stupid dumbass.
どうしよう春秋さん
Oh no.
できないか
Oh. Oh. Hey, hey, Imperius Club. Thank you for the raid. What's up, everybody? If you're just joining us, hope the Strive tournament was good. We are playing a visual novel right now. I scrubbed out in the tournament. I lost to Cheto and David, so no shameful losses there. But I am now playing this. This is called Raging Loop. It is a visual novel. It's apparently about werewolves, or it's similar to the game Werewolf. And we're just getting introduced to the cast, so welcome everybody. Pardon my shitty voice acting, but I'm gonna do it. What? You were an idiot? Alrighty then. Stupid. Hey, you're stupid.
ひどい
Oh, how mean. Join me, Yoshitsugu-kun. Stupid. Stupid. Huh? What the hell? Don't talk shit about Chiene. This guy's pretty conflicted.
ごめん、ちえみちゃん。
Oh, sorry,
本
Chiemi-chan.
心じゃないんだ。
I was just playing.
おー見事
Wow.
な連続
One nice
デビューだ
reversal after another. That's me. One nice reversal after another. It takes quite a man to surprise me.
ちえみちゃんには負けないぜ。
I just don't want to lose to you. That's all.
付き合ってんのかてめえら
You two dating or something? Boy, did I wish.
いい加減になさいよすぐ当に遅刻です
Stop it, Yoshitsugu. You're already late. Change and go to school. Hey, shut up. I ain't going. Mumbling something, the kid walked out of the dining hall, leaving his half-full bowl behind. Oops, sorry, I clicked away from something.
ごめんなさいね
I'm sorry
お
about
恥
that.
ずかしいところを
How embarrassing.
根は素直ないい子
He's
な
a
ん
really
です
good
よ
boy
ね
deep down, though. You know what? I could actually see that. Somewhat.
あ、ところで、
By the
牧
way,
島さんと
where
ムロ
are
さんは
Makishima-san and Muro-san?
あもうバイク拾いに出
Well,
ましたよ
they went to pick up your bike.
まずい。追いか
Oh
けないと
no, I gotta hurry after them.
場所は分かってるみたいだった
They
し
know where it
大
is.
丈夫じゃない
They'll be fine, don't you think?
いや、
Well,
一応ニュートラル
you
にすれ
just
ば
have to
押せ
set
る
it
け
in
どさ
neutral and push.
操作わかるのかな
I'm not sure they know how to do that.
あとさすがに
And
手伝うべきで
I,
しょ
of all people, should help.
作業が非効率になっ
They
ちゃ
might
まずいし
go about it the wrong way.
その程度なら
If that's
手
all,
出しはやめとき
then
まし
you
ょう
shouldn't bother.
なんで
Why is that?
取りも直さず
Because you're an
春秋さ
outsider.
んがよそ者
And
だからです
I wouldn't suggest spending too much
長時
time
間
alone
一緒
with
に歩くの
them.
はちょっと
問題になりそうな人たちには思えなかったけど
They didn't seem that bad to me.
そりゃ二人とも大人だ
That's
か
because
ら
they're adults.
でも基本的
Don't
にこの
assume
チームほ
everyone
どオ
here
ー
is
プンな
as
人は
welcoming as
ここには
me.
そうそういないから
I'm the
ね
exception.
春秋さんは平気か
You
もだ
might
け
get
ど
along
一緒
fine,
にいる
but
と
you
向こ
might
うも
also
ストレ
set
ス
them
溜める
off.
かもしれな
This
い
place is already far from
ただでさ
normal.
え今
Don't
普通じ
risk
ゃねえ
making
か
it
ら
worse.
まあそうね
She's right, I say.
任せろと
They
言わ
insisted you
れ
leave it
た
to
ら
them, so
手出しをしない
That's what you should
方
do.
がいいでしょ
そうなんですか
so you think so too?
え
Yes.
え休
The
み
men
ずに
here are
は
pretty serious
休
about
みずにやり
Yashimizu
方
having
があ
his
る
own way of doing things.
男の人たちはそれにこだわるから
I could somewhat understand that. A visitor should behave like one. Doing anything more would be uncalled for. It was an old-fashioned way of thinking, but this was an old-fashioned kind of place. That's for sure.
じゃあ、どこで待とうか。
So where do we wait then?
うちに戻って待ちましょう。
At my place, of course. I expected as much, but it still made me curious. Normally, you'd expect we'd sit around and drink some tea right here, so why don't we? As we waited, Chieme casually but uncomfortably told me a few things. First, I found out that the people here in Yasumizu were a bit on edge right now. The reason for that was the fact that, excluding me, there were 3 whole outsiders here. I'd assumed this myself from what I knew so far, but apparently yesterday morning a little girl was found staying around the Saranaga Rapids. They couldn't even find out her name, let alone who her parents were, so they didn't know how to handle her. For now, one of the inhabitants was looking after her. Like I'd been told, the more superstitious inhabitants, Taisan mostly, saw her as a bad omen. I suggested leaving her to the police, but Chieme didn't seem to think that was a good idea. Barely made sense to me, but if I were to believe her, things around here were such that not even cops could do anything about it. And apparently the remaining 2 outsiders were a pair of journalists gathering information for a magazine article. Unlike the little girl and I, they'd come here via the normal route through Kamifujiyoshi, and therefore weren't considered a bad omen or whatever. Still, even normal outsiders put people on edge here. Through this talk, I also got some details about the area itself. Oh, map. Yasumizu was a settlement part of an autonomous region called Fujiyoshi Village, or simply Fujiyoshi. It had also been on the map I'd been shown at the store. Fujiyoshi was split into 2 areas, Yasumizu and Kamifujiyoshi. They were separated by a mountain. Going to Kamifujiyoshi took about an hour by foot or 20 minutes by car on the winding paved road. Side note, the school the students went to was in Kamifujiyoshi. These 2 settlements had ties so strong, they shared customs and culture. Chieme said the local seasonal events were quite unconventional. I asked her to elaborate, but all she would say was that Yasumizu had special meaning to Fujiyoshi. She was making me more suspicious than I cared to be. This conversation wasn't nearly as exciting as the one we had last night. Well, at least I found out she didn't have a boyfriend right now. Intriguing. Hey. It was nearly noon when Takumi-san came back, ending my waiting game. Side note, the door was fully open the entire time we waited. It was probably Chieme's way of saying that nothing bad was happening here. Man, bikes sure are heavy, eh? Ain't as heavy as the boar I caught last year. I really didn't expect them to just carry it here. Like, sure, there were 2 of them, but just how much mass do you have to haul like a 200-kilogram piece of metal so easily? The unpaved road and the river made me sweet ride really damn muddy. How did you bring it up the cliff? Oh, there's a pulley. We bring stuff up from the bottom every now and then. Takumi. Oh yeah, now's not the time for that. Hey, you think this thing's alright? It looks pretty damn wet. I'm not sure. I'll check. Alright. I'll leave the rest to you then. Old man, this took longer than I thought it would. Is it fine if I do the sharpening tomorrow? I saw them off with a loud thank you. Now then, need help? I'll see what I can do by myself first. Alright, bike time. The worst part of the repairs is always right at the beginning. I wanted to start by washing it, but that old lady, Tai Yamawaki was her full name, got really mad at me. She didn't want any Saranaga mud on the ground here because it was corrupt or something. But this plaza was the only place with easy access to a water supply tap, so I did my best and convinced her to let me wash it as close to the edge as possible. Once it was clean, I could start checking what was wrong with it. It actually looked pretty good. Bent in places, sure, but the wash got rid of the bad sound the wheels made. The only problem was that both tires were now flat. And that was a pretty big one.
道具とか持ってきてないの？
You didn't bring tools?
ふん。
No.
普通
Aren't you supposed to? Whenever you go on a bike trip?
いざとなればロードサービス呼べばいいかな。
I just thought I could call road
的なノリだっ
service
たん
and,
で。
and they'd do all the work.
不準備。
So unprepared.
いや、
Yeah,
返す言葉も。
I have no excuse. Honestly, I was having a moment when I went out, didn't think things through.
お？事情を聞いてほしそう。
Oh, can I ask what happened?
彼女に振られたんだよ。
My girlfriend left me. Sag.
なんか嘘っぽいな。
That seems like a lie. It wasn't.
それはともかく。
In any case, somewhere to get tools to fix a flat tire.
野里屋敷なら
There might be some in the
あるかもしれない
Nosato
な。
mansion.
野里屋敷。
The Nosato mansion?
うん。
Yep.
安水で
It's the biggest place in
一番大きな
Yasumizu.
お家。
If you can't find something
野
there,
里屋敷
hey,
に
you
ない
won't
の
find
は
it anywhere else in the
安水
village.
にはないよ。
なるほど。
I see.
じゃあそこの人にお願いしに行こう。
Let's give it a shot. I don't really recommend meeting the guy, but I can't think of any other ideas.
また偉い人が登場。
Oh, someone important again?
うん。
Yep.
その上
And
ちょっと
he's kind of messed up
人
to
格的
boot.
ね
Haha. Oh god. Here we go. And so we walked up the hill and arrived to the so-called Nosato mansion. From what I could tell, it was located at the highest point of the settlement. And like Chieme said, it was definitely a hell of a building. Had an elegant Western design, which would probably look even better if the place were better maintained. The yard was overgrown, and the building itself was pretty much buried in ivy and small trees. If someone told me it was cursed, I would instantly believe them. Did people actually live here?
インターホン生きてるかな。
I wonder if the intercom works. She pressed the button next to the aged iron gate. Yasumizu was a quiet place, so you could easily hear the bell ring inside.
もう一度押そうか。
Should we try again?
やめとこ。何度も鳴らすと心象
No,
悪い
let's
から。
not. I think we'll piss him off.
そんなに気難しい人なの？
Moody guy, huh?
そうね。気難しい。
Moody? Yeah, that's pretty
Ishogen.
accurate. I wasn't sure what she meant, but I opted to just wait rather than ask more questions. Oh, well, soon enough, the person in question walked out of the mansion.
なんだ
Oh, shit. Look at this Chad. What is it? Who are you? He wasn't young, but he didn't look middle-aged either. He certainly looked high-strung, that much was sure. I don't even know how to voice this guy.
どうも、野里さん。
Hello, Nosato-san. It's Serizawa.
知っている芹沢知恵
Oh my god, he's got
こ
the...
っちの青年は存じ上げないがね
Oh, the highest class. Yeah, this guy's a Giga Chad. I know you, Chieme Serizawa. I'm asking the young man with you.
春明さん。
Haruaki-san.
こちら野里清
This is
正さん
Kiyonosuke. Oh my god.
自己車の
Kyonosuke Nosato-san. Kyonosuke-san. This is Haruaki Fusaishi. He got into an accident. That introduction was the briefest one yet.
はなんだって
Huh? What? I explained the situation again. He furrowed his brow when I mentioned the Saranaga, of course, in addition to the reason we were here.
というわけで、
So,
早々にここ
I need
から出て
repair
いくため
tools
に
so I
も
can get out of here as soon
修
as
理道具を
possible.
お持ちだ。
タイヤはチューブレスだ
Are the tires tubeless? Huh?
一応パッチもある
I have patches, but I think fixing tubeless tires would be a bit too much for an amateur. Though, there's no problem if you aren't.
なあ
Oh, but if the tube bursts, you have no choice but to change it. I don't have any spares here, obviously, and I wouldn't even give them if I did.
あの、すみません。
Sorry,
ちょっと
but
そのあたり
I'm not too
あんまり
knowledgeable
詳しく
about
ない
that.
まま乗っちゃったんで。
ちょっと
What a waste of time. I recommend spending however many thousands you need to have a repairman come and pick you up. I had no retort to that.
あ
Oh, but Nosato-san, I don't think we can have any more outsiders come here right now.
は
Huh?
君は間違い
Haven't you
だ
been to a proper city?
未だにそんなもの
Don't tell me
信
you
じてる
still
のかね
believe that nonsense.
うーん私は
I'd be fine with it, but I doubt the elders would be.
ここ数日
We've had too many visitors these past few days.
安水の連中
I don't care what you Yasumisu peasants think. This guy's my favorite. What did you expect me to do anyways? Fix the tires myself and get oil all over me?
いやそこまで
Oh, I'd never suggest that. I just think that Fujiyoshi village head should help a troubled visitor. Huh. How about, instead of relying on me only when it's convenient, you just give him a traditional Yasumizu welcome? You know, throw him off the cliff. What the hell?
いやそんな言っちゃダメ
Come
だ
on. You can't just say that. Chemi's tone was slightly off. I could feel a bit of irritation behind her words. This dude is smug as hell. You know, it might be a bother, but can you at least lend me the tools?
なんだと
What? I'll just borrow them. You won't hear or see me work. I can even pay you.
まあ
Well, I don't mind that much, but
下手に物を
I'll want compensation for anything you break. Student or not, I'll have you act proper. Then he pointed me to the garage and walked back to the mansion.
いやーなんとかならない気
Man,
がして
I
きた
thought we were screwed there.
チューブがバーストって
What the
なんだろう
hell's a burst tube?
春明さんかっこ悪
Oh man, you're so lame.
え
What, you
バイク
think
乗りなら
every
スパナ
biker can
一
just
本で何でも
fix a
修理してみ
bike
せ
by
よ
hitting it with a wrench?
まあわかりま
I
せ
don't
んけ
know.
ど
There are a lot of
なんか
girls
そういう
who are into
メンタル
guys
強い感
who are
じ
good with cars and
出
stuff,
したら
you
グ
know?
ッとくる女
じゃあ野里氏にはグッ
Oh,
ときた
so you're into Nosatoshi.
いやどうせ知
Nope,
ったかぶり
he's
だ
just
から
acting like he's smart.
あの人
He's
多
probably
分
never
自分
repaired
じ
a
ゃ
thing
整
in
備
his
のことない
life.
よ
That guy's not as experienced as he might have you think.
じゃあなぜバイクの整備用品なんて
Well, then why does he have bike repair stuff?
野里屋敷は上富士吉にある
The Nosato Mansion is basically the Yasumizu branch of the Nosato family. Their main mansion is in Kamifujiyoshi. Whatever they don't need there, they just send over here.
5、6年前に
I heard
清之助さんが
Kyonosuke-san was given a car 5 or 6 years ago, but he couldn't drive it at all, so it's just been gathering dust ever since. Damn, that's the countryside for you. Couldn't hide your shame if your life depended on it. True! Anyways, I now knew that man was the condescending, pretentious type. He still helped me out though, and it was true I didn't know much about bike repairs, so I couldn't really get mad.
さそうと決まれば
Anyways,
使えそうなものは全部持
let's
ち出
just
して
take
やろうぜ
everything that looks like it could be useful. Take the car, bro.
さながら山賊のごとく
Like bandits, huh? I'm in.
私邪魔じゃないかな
If this girl ends up being a werewolf, I'm gonna be so sad. Sure, I'm not bothering you.
いや適当に話してないと
I'd feel down without anyone to talk to, so just keep chatting with me. It helps. The instructions that came with the repair kit told me that my bike's tires were the rather difficult type to repair. Apparently, I had to remove the tires, but where do I even start with that? It is true. Fixing a bike tire is a pain in the ass. I had to do one a little while ago, and it's a pain in the ass. Well, as long as it didn't break it, nothing I could do could be worse than having to call road service down here, so I'm just gonna try taking it apart. She be the one that dies to the werewolf? God, that would be sad. But as I removed whatever nuts I could, I made the situation even worse than it was. Yeah, this really wasn't a job for an amateur.
お兄さん大変そうね。
You seem to be...
ちえみちゃんも
Excuse me.
よかったら食べて
You seem to be having a rough time. You can eat this too, Chieme-chan. She keeps trying to feed us. She's some kind of demon. She's trying to feed us. And like,
あり
Chieme...
がとうございます
Oh, never mind. I was gonna say Chieme keeps trying to stop her, but...
なんか大元に
Whoa, this looks serious.
機械
Man.
のはやっぱダメ
Machines,
だな
this caveman ass. These machines are just no good.
まあ怖い話になった
Hey, the benefits of culture are great as long as they don't break.
Think
Think he can fix it and get out before sundown?
厳しいかも
That might be hard. Don't worry though. Worst comes to worst, I'll do something about it. I really appreciate how she handles the visitors in my stead.
なあ知恵ねバイクって
Bro, put on a
免許
shirt,
簡単に取れんの
please. Hey, Chiene, is it hard to get a bike license?
うーんどうだろう
I don't know. I know that scooter license is easy. I have one myself.
中型大型の二輪は結構めんどいよ。
Mid-sized bike licenses are pretty hard to get. You even need to take a course, just like with cars. But hey, you like bikes? What? What is the matter with you? What's it matter to you? How much was that anyways?
これは新車で
800,000
80万くら
yen.
いかな。
Jesus Christ. 800,000 yen. Brand new. Holy shit. What the hell? That's way too high. You some kind of idiot? How'd you get that much?
まあ、バイ
Um,
トとか頑張ったから
part... Brother, you got 800,000 yen on part-time jobs?
そんな新車が事故っても
And, I guess... Oh, no. I read that as 8 million yen. Excuse me. That makes more sense. And you got into an accident. Poor Harugaki-san.
ちえみ先生
Chimi-sensei, if I may ask,
差し入れ
what happened to my share of the food? Oh no, I ate it all.
春秋さん気の毒
Wait, oh, she is trying to keep us from eating this food. This food turned you into a werewolf. Every time the mother has offered us food. Yeah, that's about, yeah, I thought it was about $61,000, not 6,100. As I told her for not leaving me any food, I somehow removed the tires. Oh, as I told her off, excuse me. I could only hope I'd be able to fix this up. I'd had this thing for less than a month, but the trouble it was putting me through made it feel somewhat dear to me. I wanted to fire it up again and make it go as fast as it could. Suddenly, I heard an engine. It felt like it was mocking me. Hold on, an engine? Here? I stopped working and turned around and see an unfamiliar van drive into the plot. Oh shit, it's gonna be the reporters. These are gonna be like... These guys are gonna be hype. Barring the classic looking piece of junk in Nosada's garage, this was the first time I'd seen a car here. As far as I knew, no one living here actually owned a car,
さ
so...
っき言った記者さんたち
These are the journalists I told you about. Yeah, I knew it. Once the van stopped, a lady stepped out. Oh shit. Oh, they're gonna be so annoying. Hello. Oh, she's pretty. This guy, it's first time. Anytime this guy sees a woman, he just goes, oh, she's pretty.
どうも
Hello.
今日もご迷惑をおかけします
I'll be bothering you again today.
これまで見ない
You're a
ような
new
ね
face.
どうも
Hello.
自己春秋です
My name is Haruaki Bike Crash.
そこまで自虐的になんなくても
Ah, come on, don't be so hard on yourself. Oh crap, that was no time for an inside joke. I quickly introduced myself properly.
ちょっとその辺
So I
で
crashed not too far away. I'm stuck here for the time being.
なるほど学生
I
さんね
see, so you're a student. Sorry about the trouble you're going through. Oh, and this is me.
私はこういうものです
No, it was the music. It was the music that made me say that. You hear this music? This is peak like annoying antagonistic force music. Sago Mamiya. Mamiya is a character in Fist of the North Star, a freelance writer. Her pen name was Kyuko Hyose.
ちなみに読んだことない
Have you ever read? Have you ever read Kyuko Hyose's articles?
すみません
No, sorry.
だよね
I figured. I'm not a big name yet, and the magazines I do get printed are marketed for housewives and the elderly.
それは難易度高
Oh,
いな
that's some pretty intense
ちなみ
competition.
に何を書いておられる
What do you write, anyways?
フードレビュー
Food reviews. I specialize in unusual dishes.
あれですか世界で一番臭い缶詰とか
The foulest smelling canned food in the world or something?
そうそう
Yep. Well, your usual brand of weirdness doesn't attract much attention these days, so I'm looking for minor culinary oddities local to Japan.
そんなわけで
Anyway, if you know of any weird dishes from your hometown, do tell me. I'd travel the length of Japan to give it a try.
どこでも
ラボの後輩が
A student from the lab I frequented once made pork miso soup with a mushroom he found on campus. We had mass hallucinations and
思いつきと毒物は却
oh
下ね
no flashes of brilliance or poisons, please. I've already had my fun with those. As we chatted, I became curious.
そういえば、取材の
By the way,
方はお
weren't there
二人と
two
は
of you?
ええ
Ah, yes, I'm here with a partner. He just needs some time to, oh, there he is.
来た来た
I looked at the van and became completely awestruck. It felt like the van had shed its skin or something. That made no sense, but seriously, how did this fit in there? Oh, mama. He was a gargantuan. Takumi-san was something, but this man was on the level of a foreign heavyweight wrestler. Though, unlike Takumi-san, this man was a primarily fat rather than muscle. As he walked out of the driver's seat, the van shook wildly.
写真家の橋本雄大さんよこちらは
Yudai Hashimoto-san, a photographer. He's way more famous than me. He works in all sorts of fields. I imagine you've seen some of his photos without even knowing. I didn't know much about photography, but I was definitely convinced. There was a certain amount of authority. I pictured Waluigi, dude. When I heard, like, meddling reporters, I thought of, like, Boris and Natasha from Rocky and Bullwinkle, or, like, Wario and Waluigi. He wasn't saying a word, and I couldn't tell what he was thinking.
どうもはじめまして。
Ah, nice to meet you.
久石春明です。
I'm Haruaki Fusaishi. Is he even alive?
どうも
Hello. After a strange pause, he slowly bowed like the moving mountain he was and greeted me with a voice like a titan. He seemed somewhat difficult to interact with.
今日で最終日でしたっけ
This is your last day here, isn't it?
ええオリベさんが秘蔵の
Yes, Oribe-san said she let me try her prize Shishinare.
よその人に耐えられるかな
I don't know if an outsider can handle it. This is your last day here because you're eating.
まあ
Don't worry, I have my stomach medicine. I'm sure it'll be fine. And so Mamiyashi and Hashimoto-shi walked off to the dining hall. Who would have thought such a beauty was a delicacy hunter? I had to admit, the Gap was kind of charming. As intrigued as I was, I couldn't waste any more time. I gotta fix my bike already. Whoa. Oh god. A lot of things surprised me, but not as much as this.
もしもし。
Hello? Bro? No reaction? Oh my god. It's a senile poor old man.
何か
You need
ご用
something
ですか？
from me, old man? I made sure to speak as clearly as possible. It didn't look like he understood. I figured it was best to just ignore him and resume repairs, but... Coming! I looked at him again. He was still just standing there like his soul and brain had left his body. He's Kumin, dude. A vacant stare. A vacant shift. Yellow eyes. Half-open mouth covered in saliva. Coming! He spoke again.
何が来るんです？
What's coming? The What? His voice was too hoarse to make out.
何ですって？
Come again. I placed my hand against my ear. Don't get close to me, dude. He finally understood what I wanted and prepared to whisper something. I brought my ear closer and... the wolf is coming! The wolf is coming! Oh yeah, we were gonna juice this guy's volume in the options, remember? The sudden shout caught me completely off guard and made me fall to the ground. He looked down at me, laughing. He clapped and opened his half-toothless smile with a wide smile. His half-toothless mouth with a wide smile. Oh, the wolf is coming! The wolf is coming! He bent his body in a weird way, laughed like he was convulsing, turned around. Yeah, I hate this dude.
Haruaki-san
Haruaki-san! I'm too late.
何が遅
おじいちゃん
He's old. Gramps over there loves messing around with strangers.
あれ
Oh, that's
ジェーム
that's your grandpa?
いやいや
No. I don't even know his name. He's been here forever, and he's always like that.
ボケてる
It felt less like he was just messing around and more like he's a bit
あの人
touched.
うんみんな
Yeah,
狼じじいって
everyone
言って
calls
るけ
him
ど
the old man who cried wolf. Named after the boy who cried wolf, I assume. Doesn't really roll off the tongue as well.
狼
Wolves, huh? You don't say. As far as I knew, there were no wild wolves in Japan. There used to be, but after the last sighting of the Meiji or Showa era, they've been considered extinct. Modern Japan's image of wolves come from Western fairy tales and the like. It wasn't linked to anything in our culture or life. Even The Boy Who Cried Wolf is a Western tale. Did his brand of insanity make him repeat the tale or something? A bit weirded out by the circumstances, I went back to repairing my bike. After a bit more time, I somehow took off the rubber from the tires and removed the tubes. Both the tires were pierced by some really rusty nails. Fuck. This kind of stuff only happened at the worst of times. Then, I applied the patches and filled them with air using a manual pump. I wet the tubes. There were no bubbles, meaning no air was leaving them. Things were looking good. After the high schoolers came back from school and passed by, no one else stopped to talk. Chimmy was looking a bit bored now.
なんとかなりそうかも
Eh,
I think I got it.
嘘あんなにダメっ
Seriously?
ぽかったのに
But it all seemed so hopeless.
悪かったね
Well, sorry.
まあこれを
Though,
組み立て
I
直す
think I need to
って
rebuild
大仕事が
this.
残って
That's
る
gonna be a lot of work.
それが終わったら
And
出
then
発
you'll be able to leave.
そうだね
Yeah,
長い
believe me, I
すると
know
ま
I
ずそうな
shouldn't
のは
stay here
よく
long.
わかったし
I can take a hint.
そうよかった
Ah, that's great. She didn't seem to care that much. Guess I had no chance with her, huh?
もう何時間もコンを詰めっぱなし
You've been at this for hours. How are you holding up?
疲れてない
Do you need a break?
昼食休憩の
Well,
機会が
I'd be better if a
誰かさん
certain
に奪われたこともあって
someone
ね
didn't take away my lunch break.
代わりにクラ
Hey,
ッカーを
I
あげ
gave you
たじ
some
ゃないで
crackers,
すか
didn't I? Like that was enough to save any guy in his mid-20s.
まあ僕は
Still,
大丈夫
I'm pretty fine. I'll push forward a bit more. You can go if you want. I've
君もいいよ
been introduced to
大
just
体
about
の人と
everybody
は
here.
顔
多分あと2人
There's
会ってない人
two
がいる
people you haven't met yet. Really? Well, I don't need to, right?
もうちょっといるよ
I'll stay around a bit
どうせ
longer.
暇だから
I
帰って
came
きた
back here because I was bored, and
こともないし
it's not like I'm busy.
52人の男友達と遊ぶ選択肢はなか
Oh
った
my
の
god, don't be petty, dude. Couldn't you play around with your 52 guy friends?
全言撤回
I take it back. I came back because I wanted to be bored. Living in the city is so annoying and tiring, especially with 52 guys texting you all the time. That's right. Clap back.
そっか
Oh.
ごめん52人
Sorry, I lied about 52 guys.
なんでそんな嘘を
But why?
春明さんに対
Because
す
I
る
wanted to keep you in check, I guess. Why would she pull a tactic like that only to reveal her hand?
ねえ彼女に振られ
Hey,
たって本
did you really get dumped by your girlfriend? And now she asks me that?
本当だって
I did. Honest.
当そっか
I see. Well, after that relentless assault, it wouldn't be fair unless I played my own card.
なんならこれ
You
乗ってい
wanna
く
come with me?
これって2人乗りなんだ
It's a two-seater?
もちろん
Yeah.
一応
I even got an extra
ヘルメ
helmet.
ットも吊るしてきてるし
Run away with me.
まだか僕がこのままここを出ていく
I'm
から
obviously leaving
その
soon,
便で
so
ちえみちゃんも外に出るのが
unless you have something
都合良
planned,
け
you
れば
can
ってこと
join
にな
me.
るけど
hell yeah.
ついでに
We
ロ
can
ング
go on a
ツーリング
bike
してみる
tour if we have enough
時間
time.
さえあれば
I
ど
can
こへ
take you
だって行く
anywhere.
よ
Flexible, open to fine tuning, wild, and charming. This was a good date invitation if I do say so myself.
いいね素敵
That sounds
都
great.
合
I have no
問題ないの？
plans. Oh,
じゃあ荷物まとめてくるね
I'll go get my stuff. Jimmy smiled and turned around to head to her place. She then looked back at me and,
急いだ方がいいよ
you should hurry before I change my
チェーン
mind.
さんの気が変わらない
はいはい
Alright.
もちろん
Well, That made me motivated. This was one tiring trip, but at least I met someone good along the way. I'd just forget everything I don't want to remember while on the road with her. I'd just forget everything I don't want to remember while on the road with her. I could only hope that clever girl and I would eventually grow closer. And with that ulterior motive in mind, I resumed rebuilding my bike. After several failed attempts, I was finally making some good progress putting the bike back together. Afternoon had passed and it was almost evening. At that rate I was going, I'd definitely be working while it was dark. Would that even be possible? It might be way past midnight by the time I was done. Chimmy might dump me for that. Man, life sure was hard. The plaza I'd worked in was now totally empty, and there was no one around me. All I could hear was the wind, the frogs, the tools in my hand. It was desolate, to say the least. I suddenly felt really weak. It made me keenly aware of being in a place I didn't belong in, that I was preparing to escape. It was an oppressive atmosphere, like the bars of a cage were slowly swinging shut. What's this? Haruaki? Think you're gonna get attacked or something? I tried to laugh it off, but it didn't work. As I became more conscious of my surroundings, I began to hear things I hadn't noticed before. I heard a voice. Someone was singing. It was an inarticulate little girl's voice. I stopped my work. Before I knew it, I'd put my tools down and gone looking for the source. Was I that starved for human presence? Or did the malaise make me feel like I was in danger? I walked down the hill to where the song came from. Passing the tall grass, I arrived. Oh, brother. Oh, God. Its guardians are. It was a strange sight. The field was covered in tall grass. There were countless rocks peeking out of it. Unlike the boulders all over Yasumizu, these were only up to my waist. They looked like gravestones. 6, the badge are hung so long, great with. Yeah, I'm a little scared too. The field extended to dusky western sky before ending at a cliff. The cliff? They said they threw people off the cliff. This was the lowest spot in Yasumizu, the border to the Saranaga. There was a large pine right at the edge. Oh my god. The donut, bologna, rice, snows on the mountain. She's just singing nonsense. The evening sun, the stones, and the pine shadow gave the field a strange aura. A little girl was running through it. Her steps were awkward. At this moment, this space was alien. It's gonna make a scary paint. You can lower the volume if you want, Koyo. I feel like I was looking at Giorgio di Chirico painting. The place felt like it didn't belong in this world. Suddenly, I came to understand that this place was special. It was sacred, mystical ground where no outsiders were welcome. The girl fell. Are you okay? I run with no hesitation. The little girl. What does that mean? Help up. Half crying little girl. Muddy clothes. Oh, I have to hit the arrow keys? Help up. Half crying little girl. Muddy clothes. New graze on band-aid covered kneecap. No, this is just... I can't do anything. Like, I can click, but why are there arrows? I console little girl. Push away. Run. Someone appears. Girl saw once me. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. Girl, weave, incomprehensible phrase. I hide behind little girl. Fear and hostility, eyes up. Her eyes. Girl hug, little girl, warn me. Yeah, you probably won't make it. But, run. Me, girl, behind. Me, girl, behind, mist. Mist, mist. Me, girl, behind, mist, 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 mist. Mist, 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 mist. Me, girl, behind, mist, 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 mist. Me. Turn around. Run. Where? In a daze, I came back to the plaza. Suddenly, Chami shook me, bringing me back to my senses.
どこへ行ってた
Oh my god, where were you?
ごめん
Oh, sorry.
すぐ作業
I'll
に
finish the
戻るか
job
ら
now.
何言って
Too late, you idiot. You won't make it in time. You've gotta hide. I couldn't understand what she was getting at.
何やってんだチーミー
What are you doing? Go to your room right now.
でも春秋さ
But
んが
Haruaki-san's... Forget the outsider. Old man Konzo and I will check on the other places. Stop wasting time and go back to your room. I could not understand. What were these two doing? What scared them so much? It didn't take long for me to find out. I looked down the hill from the Saranaga. Beyond the field I'd just been in came a rising haze. It was dense. You could easily call it mist. I moved. This music is sick. It moved strangely, like a living creature, as it flowed into the plaza.
春秋さん
Haruaki-san, over here, over here. Chimi pulled me by the hand.
何が
What's going
なん
on?
だか
My head feels like it weighs a ton.
頭
今は我慢
Oh,
し
you
た
gotta deal with it. You gotta find a place you can lock the doors. You will die if you don't.
どういう
What
こ
do
と
you
なの
mean?
理由を
Tell me.
お願い春秋
Please
さん
don't ask questions. Just do as I say. Just this once. Albeit hesitantly, I did as she said. Oh god, what's gonna happen? We ran up the hill and crossed the rice field path until we made it to a simple outhouse.
ここなら
This should be fine.
本当
Seriously?
何事なんだ
What is going on?
確かにすごい
And
霧だけ
sure,
ど
that's a hell of a
そんな
mist,
慌てる
but
ことじゃ
this outhouse won't protect me, right?
いい
Listen,
春秋さん
there's no time to explain, so please, just do what I say
だから
and only that.
今から
Get in there,
ここに入
lock
って
yourself in,
鍵を
stay inside the whole
絶
night,
対に
and
物音
don't
一つ
make a
立てないで
sound. My mind was pretty clear by this point, so much that I began to wonder why it was clouded up until now. Because of that, I could easily understand exactly what Chiemi said, despite how weird it was. I could also see she was really desperate. Oh my god, look at all these keys you need to do this option. I'll hide in the outhouse, I guess.
また
Now,
とんでもない
that's a hell of
指
an
示が来た
order.
もんだ
春秋さん
Haruaki-san.
言っとくけど
Just so you know,
相当な
pulling that off
無
is
茶ぶ
pretty
りだから
hard, so when I
俺が
do,
クリアの暁に
I'd
は
like a good
相
reward
当な見
and
返
an
りと説
explanation.
明を要求す
Okay,
いいよ
sure. I'll tell you everything.
だか
So
ら
please, survive the night. We ain't
生き延び
surviving.
て
The words, the teary smile, none of it looked fake.
じゃあね
Alright,
君も
Jane,
急
see you
ぐでし
then.
ょ
You gotta hurry, right? Yep. Haruaki-san.
何
What?
明日
I'll tell you
言う
tomorrow.
から
Leaving me one hell of a homework assignment, Chimmy ran off. The plaza was covered in the mist by now. I could see it rising to take over the fields, too. Anyway, promise is a promise. She's definitely dead, and I think that second option where you had 4 keys unlocked is like everything you need to go save her in one route. 10 minutes later, I began to wonder what I was doing. Was I really supposed to spend the night in here? The outhouse wasn't like a prefab you found in construction sites. It was just a shack built by hand. I mean, it merely happened to have a toilet unit installed. It was Japanese style too, so I couldn't even sit down. All I could do was stand. Another problem. It was the type of toilet that periodically had to be pumped empty, so the smell was pretty bad. How am I liking it so far? This is fun. I really like just it's chill, you know. I really like just reading and stuff, and like it gets pretty intense. I'm excited to see where it goes. This is probably the end of chapter 1. I'm gonna get to a point where I can like call it the end of chapter 1 and then save and then cut it for YouTube, and then we'll keep doing this. This game is sick. Like, sure, there was a cover on the toilet, but without any kind of air freshener anywhere, the smell of ammonia can only do so much. The only thing about being here was that if I had to go to the toilet, well, you know, mission accomplished. But what of it? Again, was I really supposed to spend the night here? The question quickly made me realize how stupid this was, and I began making assumptions to make this easier for myself. Was I being pranked, or was everyone here just crazy? Hey, we got Grandma Jump Scare. That's going to be the name of the YouTube video, by the way. Grandma Jump Scare. Hell, the mist had already filled the surroundings, and there was no way that this shabby outhouse protected me from it. The air here already felt misty and damp. Temperature here was low, so I could still bear it somewhat, but Staying here all night would make me all wet. Again, I wasn't safe from the mist here. That considered, I'd probably be better off sleeping in the grass outside than staying here. No, don't. The reasonable part of my mind urged me to stop playing along with these hicks. However, get in there, lock yourself in, stay the whole night. Sure, I'll tell you everything. So please, survive the night. I have the perfect picture for it, too. My sense of duty made it hard for me to break the promise I'd made to her. Actually, that wasn't quite true. I was more intrigued by the prospect of learning more about this place. Anyway, I took the time to compile what I had found out today. Ooh, jam? This was the Yoshimizu settlement, a special part of Fujiyoshi, situated right next to the Saranaga Rapids. People living here were Cheme, Oribe, his family, Kaori and Yoshitsugu, Kamoshida, Mochi, Haru Makishima and her granddad, Kanzo Makishima, Tai Yamawaki, Takumi Muro, Kyosuke no Sato. He seemed like he was from Kamifujiyoshi, the place on the other side of the mountain, but for some reason he lived here now. And finally, the old man who cried wolf. Those were the 11 people I'd met, and Chime said I had 2 left. That could only mean that the 2 I'd met by the pine were the ones. A little girl. She was probably the child that strayed into Saranaga yesterday morning. And then there was this fantastical looking white-haired woman. That's not the tutorial lady, right? This is someone different. There's a fantastical looking white-haired woman clad in strange clothing. She was probably the one I'd seen in the morning. The fact that I'd seen her twice made it likely that she was indeed real, but how mysterious this place was, there's a possibility she was just an illusion. She's like Monica, dude. She's like messing with the code and shit. According to Chieme, the little girl was being looked after by someone in the village, so I can only assume it was the white-haired woman. If I counted little girl, that would mean Yasumizu, had 13 inhabitants. Then there were the 2 journalists, Mamiya and Hashimoto. Add me to that, and you have a total of 3 outsiders, but I'd put that aside for now. Anyway, time for an assessment. Yesterday morning, a little girl strayed into Saranaga. To make it worse, no one, not even herself, knows anything about her. She instantly got branded as an ill omen. Yeah, probably because she sings really creepy. The next day, Chime, who was in Saranaga for some reason, found me there. They recognized me as a proper lost person, but since I came through Saranaga, I was also branded as an ill omen. From what Kyosuke Nosato she said, it was safe to assume that they used to be customary to throw people like us into the Saranaga. And then there was the mist. The girl said something mysterious. Prepare for the feast the evening the mist arrives. I could only assume it was related to some superstitions. After all, the mist comes from Saranaga itself. It and the river seem to be central to the local customs and ideas. With that in mind, how was it dangerous? What was going to happen now? Yombito, as in people from Yomi, the ancient Japanese land of the dead. Dead people come back through Saranaga, and they're corrupted? Well, that gave room for some wild ideas. Was there some sort of pathogen in Saranaga that rose up with the mists? Umbrella Corporation? Did it turn people into zombies? Was I about to be a part of a Japanese Resident? Oh, yo, he called it. Was I about to be part of a Japanese Resident Evil? Wait, that's already Japanese. What if you had a 10% chance to be infected by the mist, but a 100% chance to be infected by another person? Well, that would explain why everyone isolates themselves like this. If I became a zombie, I probably wouldn't have the mind to unlock the door. So basically, by locking myself in here, I was quarantining myself. I hadn't put all that much thought into it, but good enough story for me. Sure, stuff like boulders and wolves didn't fit anywhere into my idea, but it was still interesting. Then again, I know this was Hicksville and all, but superstition that science could explain so easily really survive in this modern world? Seems so weird. Yeah, yep, the instructions. Don't make a sound. To be frank, the reason why I spent so much time on these delusions was because I was scared of things I don't know or understand. In the past, people used to attribute stuff like natural phenomena and diseases to gods, devils, yokai, you name it, and do nothing but fear them. They were scared of these manifestations of monsters and whatnot, but On the other hand, it was better than not seeing or not knowing what they really were. The fact that you could die to things you couldn't see or understand made life really unreasonable and really unfair. That's why it was very logical to give things names and mental images in order to recognize and memorize them. My fear of things I didn't know was the same, except I wasn't satisfied with just labels or hypotheses. I needed to reach the truth. That aside, what was I feeling just now? What I was feeling just now wasn't a fear of the unknown. It was a realistic, practical fear of something that could endanger my life.
今から
Oh
人
my
は
god, get in
ここ
there.
に
Oh
入っ
my
て
god.
鍵を
Stop.
かけて
Stop. I know.
絶対に
Don't make a
物音
sound.
一つ立てないで
That meant that outside lurked something dangerous that could hear sounds. Perhaps it was the so-called dead that rose up from the river. Or maybe, assuming I was right with my Saranaga sickness theory, people who come out and beat the shit out of all the diseased who didn't follow the rules. The wolf is coming. Maybe the wolf was a title given to the killer. Oh god. Oh my god. Suddenly I heard a scream in the distance. No! Don't! Don't! No! Okay, sorry guys. Wow. That was some timing. Right as I was about to form a new hypothesis, the proof connecting it all suddenly came to me. And it was right outside. I had gotten really dark. There were no lights anywhere. The darkness was fear. Unperceived equals unknown equals dangerous equals scary. Leaving this place was dangerous. Dangerous equals scary equals scary equals scary equals scary. Scary things were scary no matter how much logic you apply. But I couldn't discard my desire to get to know the fear and conquer it. I opened the door and stopped in place. Night wasn't absolute darkness. No matter how dark or cloudy it was, the sky always gives some bit of light to us. However, I came to understand that it could be hard to see even if there was light. Everything I saw was covered by a dense mist. Combined with pale moonlight, it made the area seem so milky. I made it hard to get around. Regardless, I couldn't ignore the scream. There was something beyond this veil. I kept moving forward. Unless my ears were deceiving me, the scream belonged to a woman, and had come from the right. Oh no, Cheme. I couldn't let myself think that. Or rather, I don't want to think that. The unknown was scary. Personally, I'd found that principle and made my life really easy. I had more than enough fear for those who were directly threatening my life. I really don't want to have the fear of losing someone as well. Change your line of thought, Haraki. Solving this mystery might save someone. 2 birds with 1 stone. I began walking faster. Oh my god, another scream. It was close. I realized I had to find a way to protect myself. I was so unalarmed. I was unarmed, excuse me. So I looked around for anything I could use as a weapon. I felt around to see if there were any branches. Sadly, all I felt was grass. I did touch grass. I went deeper and searched the ground itself. Soon, I felt something hard. It was a rock. A moment of digging deeper, I took it in hand. It was a bit smaller than my hand. I almost teared up at how useless it seemed, but it was better than nothing. I looked at the base of my feet and saw the grassy ground. I could easily move forward if I first checked the ground using my feet. Yeah, fun but not scary, fun but not scary, fun but not scary. And since I might have been close to the danger, I had to focus on what was ahead too. I recognized the danger and, if possible, get rid of it. I concentrated entirely on that and stepped forward. I couldn't hear the screams anymore, but I could hear other things. Oh god, a wet sound and cracking. It filled my mind with something I don't want to imagine. Even so, I kept walking forward, till I saw it. Oh my god, it's glorious. My hypotheses were nothing but delusions. The truth was truly something you had to see yourself, but why? Why was this so scary in spite of being true? It wasn't supposed to exist. It couldn't exist. After all, it was a wolf with a humanoid body. And there's no such thing as werewolves. The next morning, in a paddy field, someone discovered a thoroughly mangled corpse. The clothes nearby led the discoverers to conclude that it was the traveler, Haruaki Pusaishi. So this is ending 1. You die to the wolf. Still moving. Strangely enough, I could perceive this particular moment. Oh shit, we're not dead. And so I...
さよなら春明さん
was finished off by the girl.
宴が
The feast begins.
始まりました。
The last thing I heard.
狼を
I'll hang the wool. Was that? Whoa. Unveiled arrival. Key number 2, Werewolf and Resurrection. You can view it in the keys list. The route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number in the scenario chart. So yeah, I saw the key number 2, game over. Bad ending, number 2. Watch hint corner? Sure. Sheep! It's Bedman's Sheep Super. Hey there, you've done it now, eh, Chief? Me? I don't mind. I'm just an insignificant interface character. You can call me Sheep. This is a space between dreams. That bastard Hawaki can't see it, so feel free to kick back and relax. That said, you can't stay too long. Let's get down to business. As you expect of a hint corner, I'm here to give some helpful advice in your time of need. First, let's get all the game explanations out of the way. Well, did I say you've done it now just before? You were actually fated to arrive here from the start. I mean, you only had one choice, right? There should have been one below, but it had a lock, yeah. Oh, so you know, redoing... Oh, but just so you know, redoing her quiz is pointless. None of those choices change a thing. I think it was explaining to you back in the tutorial, but let's review Raging Loop structure just in case. I can skip this. I know this. Why is that? Because the keys, these keys are spread through the story. You'll need to die. Oh, okay, so getting deaths is how you get most of the keys. This is when you're meant to stop the recording. No, it's supposed to remind me. I said remind me when... okay. I just kind of want to skip this. Also known as the Toilet Man's End, you need key 2, but that won't be a problem. You got key 2, blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you watch it, everything he's saying here is kind of obvious. Was sent back to the starting point. In other words, the scene at the start of the game with him on his bike. You can reread everything from the start if you like, but if you're going to die dozens of times from now, it'd be pointless to reread. So use the scenario chart. Yep, makes sense. This marks the end of 2, Dense Mist. The so-called prologue is over. If you pick the choice that was unlocked this time, the game's first main route, 3, Yomi, will begin. Yeah, they said the reminder was A. Now you've done it. Really? Did I miss that? Remember something that makes you clear what's locked. I'll cut this out then, because I gotta cut this video anyways. You won't be getting key 1 for a long time. You didn't miss anything and relax, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Whoa. Guess it was... Whoa, this is weird. 1 sheep, 2 sheep, just a dream wander, just a dream. Okay, there's more to this game than just this stupid werewolf story. And then it's going to take me back to the beginning. Okay, so am I on the motorcycle? Yeah, okay. So let's go to the title screen. Wow, okay. Let me do an outro, and then I got to cut this for YouTube. All right, so end. Go to just chatting. Pop up the background music again. All right. Wow. Okay, that's exciting stuff. Wow. What a good recommendation. This is kind of exactly what I wanted. So we saw the wolf. It is a game about a werewolf. Now, there was a lot that happened there. Like, there's a lot that happened there where, like, man, so we died, and then they said hang the wolf. So I'm guessing it is something like, people who get bit by werewolf are werewolf, and like they don't want it to spread. So maybe they're all already infected, and they don't want it to spread. So they don't want outsiders, because that's a chance that it'll spread, because outsiders are going to leave again. And so they got to kill anyone who becomes a wolf. I don't know. I don't want to do too much spoilage and stuff. Okay, this is definitely going to be a mainstay on the stream. So if you did just join us this time, thank you for joining. Thanks to Impurist Club for the raid. Thanks to everyone who stuck around. I am Ryer, and you can follow me here at RyerFGC on Twitch. You can also follow me on Twitter at RyerOnStream, all one word. And you can follow me on YouTube at RyerOnStream. I upload my stream VODs a day after they are recorded. And I largely play fighting games on this channel. So, but at least once a week, I'm going to try to go back to this. So next time you'll probably see this game is either going to be Saturday or Sunday. I'll probably do like a couple sets of like a fighting game and then switch over to this. And then I think either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of next week, I'll do a full dedicated version of this. Now, this game's been out for a while. So once I hit part 4, where they say to stop uploading and stop recording, I want to look for their official streaming guidelines for it, but I'll probably try to stream through all the way and just not upload it to YouTube. I might be busy, but I'll try to catch your next stream of this. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining. I have fun doing all the voices for the characters too, even though like all my voices end up sounding the same, especially when my voice gets tired. Okay, I think that's it. Let's see. Let me see if anyone's streaming to raid. Otherwise, I got some editing work to go do. I'm not seeing too many. There's who's streaming Uni? Silent is streaming Uni. A Texas Uniclear lobby. I'll go ahead and send you all over there. Silent Hooper. Say what's up from me. We'll catch you next time. Be good to one another. And yeah, see ya on the other side. I just gotta wait for the raid to be ready. Make sure you get your points.